CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hello, good morning. It is 6 o'clock on Wednesday, June 24th. Partly cloudy out there. 17 degrees is the temperature already for parts of Greater Victoria, as we haven't cooled off too much overnight. We'll tell you the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, let's get to the news, and here is Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. A new fire that sparked Tuesday along Island Highway south of Cumberland didn't have time to grow up. The BC Wildfire Service says the initial attack crews and bucketing helicopter on the scene. With the help of Cumberland Fire Department, they stamped that one out. It is now considered under control, but there are currently 24 active fires burning province-wide, 2 of them burning out of control. They're both on the mainland. Sydney Council will consult the neighbourhood about the establishment of extreme weather response shelters at St. Andrew Anglican Church. The shelter would be operated by Beacon Community Services and open only during the bad weather conditions that pose a risk to people experiencing homelessness. A similar centre was put alongside the Sydney Norsanich Library, which operates without incident over 7 nights and served 15 people, mostly older adults, already connected to services at that church. Community members are invited to share their feedback ahead of Council's consideration of the application on July 13th. Victoria General Hospital is getting a new infant panda warmer. The professional firefighters for Greater Victoria have donated over $45,000 towards the controlled open warming environment for newborns who need to help maintain their body temperature after birth or during medical care. Emily Eldridge shared the story of her 4-year-old sons and the 33-day stay in the specialized unit after they were born at just 31 weeks.
I don't think I'll ever be able to truly convey what it felt like, but I didn't know any of these people. They had no idea who I was when I walked through the door. And by the second day, they were calling my unborn boys Jack and Cooper. And they acted like family and they supported us like one. And it starts the second you walk through the door. So my success, their success, the fact that they're 5 and they're thriving is not ours alone. And it takes an absolute village. And this is a village that I can't thank enough.
Nearly 3,000 babies are born every year at VGH, and many of them need care to start their lives. It worked once in Langford, so Langford's trying it again. The city again seeking requests for proposals for a development partner to design and build up to a 6-story mixed-use project that will include medical clinical space to house 10 to 14 doctors, and also ground for commercial space on Happy Valley Road. It's in exchange for contributing the development land. Langford will retain ownership of the medical clinical space. The advanced medical clinical component, the city has entered the memorandum of understanding with the South Island Primary Care Society that helps set up 2 other clinics in Langford. Ottawa expected to now say it will begin the process of designating 2 key Arctic infrastructure projects as being in the national interest.
The projects are the first Ottawa has signaled it will elevate to become projects of national interest under the Building Canada Act, which allows the government to fast-track approvals and allow them to skirt some environmental laws. The 2 projects are the Grays Bay Road and Port Project in Nunavut and the Mackenzie Valley Highway Project in the Northwest Territories that are to be announced at a news conference in Yellowknife. The Grays Bay Project would see a 230-kilometer all-season road built through the Northwest Territories and Nunavut, unlocking mining opportunities for critical minerals in the north. The Mackenzie Valley Highway Project would see an all-season road from Yellowknife to Inuvik, cutting down travel times and passing through communities currently accessible only by air, winter roads, or barges. David Augustine, The Canadian Press.
The U.S. president expected to huddle today with Senate Republicans, some of who say they're hoping for more details on the Iran agreement. Here's ABC News chief correspondent Rachel Scott.
The Trump administration says a deal has been reached to allow inspections of Iran's nuclear facilities, but Iran flat out denies it.
They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspections. And if they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
The head of the UN's nuclear agency signaling Iran's nuclear sites would be inspected.
Whether this happens the day after tomorrow or in 1 week or in 10 days.
But it's unclear when.
And safety in the skies, or lack of, is under the microscope in the U.S.
An airline industry rep claims the close calls between planes that have made headlines in recent months may only be a small portion of the number of safety scares nationwide.
There are hundreds of them every single day.
Just last weekend, a Delta flight had to abort its landing in Boston because an American jet was just 300 feet away on an intersecting runway. The FAA insists America's skies are overwhelmingly safe, with close calls actually down this year.
That's your CFAX News to 6:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking about the World Cup because there's that little game happening at noon today. Have you changed your mind about the economic spin-off the World Cup games will bring to Vancouver and Toronto? Right now, 54% saying Ontario X it's not going to make a dent. Economy, 81% say it's not going to make any difference with our economy. On our CFAX 1070 website, you can vote there or also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:06.
I was reading in my reading of the news this morning that for every additional Canadian game that makes an appearance at BC Place Stadium, so basically the longer the Canadians can stay in this thing, it means a lot of money for bars.
Well, that makes sense because you've got more people sitting around drinking, waiting for the next game.
Yeah, huge influx of kind of like hospitality economy will be expected if Canada can keep this thing going. Yeah. That's one of the reports I saw, and we'll be talking a lot about that right now because it's time for our World Cup report. Yes, it is a match day. We do have the Canadians in action, and let's take a look at the state of things. Here you go.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg, and Canada's men's soccer team will play its biggest game ever later today in Vancouver. Canada takes on Switzerland at 3 p.m. Eastern. A win or a tie against the 19th ranked in the world Swiss, and Canada will clinch Group B.
Staying here in Vancouver is definitely our number one goal. 2 years ago, everybody thought I was crazy. That prospect at the time wouldn't be possible, but this is where I expected us to be.
Canadian coach Jesse Marsh. If they lose and finish second in the group, they'll play with 3 days rest in Los Angeles. Canada is likely to start Nathan Saliba at midfield in place of the injured Ishmael Kone. And Marsh says while Alphonso Davies won't start, he's expected to see action today. Group stage games today will also be played between Bosnia and Qatar in Group B. In Group A, Mexico meets Czechia, and in Group C, it's Brazil and Scotland. Yesterday, England had 19 shots but couldn't score in a 0-0 tie with Ghana. Ronaldo scored twice in Portugal's 5-0 win over Uzbekistan. Croatia defeated Panama 1-0 in Toronto, and Colombia got by DR Congo also 1-0. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all game streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
There you go. And yes, that game will be right here on CFAX 1070. Noon, our time, is when the game is on, and we'll have the play-by-play on the radio. If you're looking for that in your day, CFAX is your home of these Canadian games on the radio. Okay, so that's the World Cup. Real quick, just a couple of local things. Victoria kicked off the Island Rivalry Series in baseball last night. So this is the Harbour Cats versus the Nanaimo Night Owls, the two island teams in this league squaring off. Last night, it was a 5-3 win for the Harbour Cats over the Night Owls. That was game one. That one was in Nanaimo. Now the series shifts to Victoria for game two, which is tonight, 6:35 at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium. And then the last game will be tomorrow. back in Nanaimo. And the other local thing just to mention is the Minto Cup is coming to Victoria. The Victoria Shamrocks have won the right to host the tournament that declares a national Junior A lacrosse champion in 2027. The week-long tournament takes place every August. And actually, we're going to find out much more about this a little later this hour. We'll have the coach of the Junior A Shamrocks, actually, sorry, I said coach, general manager of the Junior A Shamrocks joining us at the end of the hour to talk about what this means. What does the Minto Cup mean for Victoria to host this thing? That's your sports at 6:10. To the CFAX Ed 70 traffic and weather. Pretty easy going right now. No crashes or accidents to report. If you see anything, let me know at 71010. We will have road work again on Government Street, Bay to John. Eventually, I'll stop mentioning this because it's every day. 24/7, lasting for about a month. This is just sort of the new reality for about a month. But just because it's only a couple of days in, watch out again. Full closure of Government Street at Bay. If you haven't caught on to this just yet, that is what's happening on the roads at BC Ferries. We got no sailing weights at this time, at least. And in the weather forecast, let's get into that. So today, it's still another very warm, humid day. Just not quite as warm and humid as the last couple of days. And it's going to be more cloudy. So we're sort of clouding over today. Highs will hit about 24 degrees. A humid of 25, so still some humidity. We're just not going to be quite as warm as yesterday. A little cooler by the water, that's pretty normal, and a little breeze off the Wandafuka Strait. Clear skies tonight, getting even windier, so getting kind of unsettled tonight. Lows down to 12, and then tomorrow by later into the afternoon or evening, we do see that chance of showers arriving. Temperatures will only top out around 12 degrees. Periods of rain Thursday night into Friday morning, periods of rain through Friday, but starting to ease off later into the evening on Friday. And then it looks like we clear up for the weekend. We could still see quite a bit of cloud. We'll stay cooler on the weekend with temperatures in the high teens, maybe about 20 degrees, but more on the overcast side once we hit the weekend. But it does look like this rain that's coming, it's kind of Thursday and Friday. The weekend should stay dry, at least at the moment. What are the temperatures right now? Let's take a look. In Oak Bay, you're sitting at 15 degrees as we get up into the day, but I'm seeing 17 degrees as the official temperature at the airport. Feels like it out there, kind of a warm one. One of those nights where it didn't really cool off as you're trying to sleep, depending on where you were. Over to the business news. Let's take a look at what's going on. Well, I mean, the opening bells for North American stock markets haven't rung yet, so let's take a look at how yesterday closed with Aaron Sousa.
Basic materials dragged down Canada's main stock index yesterday. Toronto's S&P TSX lost 74 points to 34,927. In New York, the Dow lost 45 and the Nasdaq dropped 579. In Tokyo this morning, the Nikkei lost 613 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong edged up by 75. Our dollar is trading at 70 and 24 cents U.S. Ottawa is expected to designate 2 northern projects as being in the national interest. Sources tell the Canadian Press that includes the Grays Bay Road and Port Project and the Mackenzie Valley Highway Project. They would be the first such designations from the Major Projects Office. Experts say Canada's effort to replace its aging submarine fleet faces hurdles in training and skilled trades. 2 firms from Germany and South Korea are vying for the contract. A decision is expected before July's NATO summit. And each FIFA World Cup match played by Canada could boost Vancouver's economy by $70 million. BMO estimates suggest bars and restaurants would benefit the most. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on CFAX as we kick off this Wednesday morning. I'm Ryan. We got Lisa on the news desk, and we are getting excited for another Canadian soccer match today as Team Canada takes on Switzerland in the final game of their group stages with a lot on the line. I'm excited, Lisa.
It's good. I think it's interesting that our poll question, the vast majority of people saying it's not going to make an economic dent, the spin-off in a positive fashion that these games are going to bring us. But yet the business report you just had said we're going to see major spin-off from it. So there's a bit of a disconnect between the money that we're seeing spent and the money that we think we're going to have coming in from these games. Because, as you just mentioned to me off air, the longer people stick around, the more they drink and eat in our cities. The longer that the teams that they're following play, the longer they're going to stay. So that's hotel rooms, that's food, that's entertainment, that's the booze. It's all of it in one happy package for BC. So I'm hoping we turn out positive in this.
Yeah, and CFAX will have the game on the radio. I've I kind of got in this morning to text messages from overnight saying, are you guys going to have the game on the radio? So, yes, we will. We will be playing it at noon is when the kickoff happens. Actually, Adam Sterling's going to do his normal show up until then. So he's going to come on at 11. He's going to be doing his Adam Sterling thing right up until the game. And then when the game's over, he's going to come back. So Adam gets to sit around and watch the soccer game.
That's something we could put on a T-shirt.
I would love
the
Adam Sterling
thing.
I would love Adam Sterling play-by-play.
Oh, I just wanted that on a T-shirt.
Just on a T-shirt.
Don't go too far now.
Okay. So that's coming up. I want to talk a bit more about what this game means today and some of the things we're going to watch for and maybe some of the things you're thinking about. Are you thinking about this game? Do you have any thoughts about what we're going to see today? How do you think Canada's going to do against Switzerland? You can text us at 71010 and join the conversation. As always, we're going to take a break, though, and get the news in right now. It's 6:16, time for the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Thank you. A group of First Nation leaders and advocates looking to repatriate Indigenous items from Switzerland say they need to raise about $20 million in order to do so. The items include sacred pipes, intricately beaded regalia, and firearms are being housed at a private museum owned near Switzerland, Zurich, Switzerland, that closed last year. The group says many of the items are believed to originate from First Nation communities in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Ontario, as well as the Lakota Nations in the U.S. It says that $20 million needed includes the estimated cost of the artifacts, hiring experts to authenticate them in the first place before they bring them back here. Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to be in Vancouver again today to watch with thousands of fans. Team Canada taking on Switzerland in the final World Cup group stage match. The kickoff happened, as Ryan just mentioned, at noon our time. That fan march to the stadium scheduled to begin at 10 this morning at the intersection of Quebec and Central Street. So expect, again, a sea of red and white and lots of Canadian fanfare. The Voyageurs fan club say they'll be waving thousands of number 8 signs during the march to pay tribute to Canadian midfielder Ishmael Kone. Of course, he has a broken leg and he'll be out after that Thursday match last week against Qatar, where Canada was successful. That winner draw against Switzerland today would keep Canada on top of Group B. And Saanich Volunteer Service Society going really old school with a fundraiser this weekend. Staff are hosting a Victorian picnic. Goes 11 to 3 at McCrae House, 1445 Ocean View Road. They are marking the historic farmhouse's 125th anniversary, built in 1901. Costumes, hats, parasols are encouraged. There's going to be live entertainment, lawn games, tarot card reading, food, drinks, and prizes for you, as well as guided tours of the house. And that's your news to 6:18.
We'll take a quick break. Traffic and weather coming up in just a moment. Then we'll talk a bit of World Cup soccer. What does this Canadian match mean today? And what does it mean for you? Text us at 71010. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home, no matter the season. Big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. Okay, let's take a look at traffic and weather. Nothing major on the roads right now. No sailing rates at BC Ferries. So if you happen to be going over to Vancouver for this Canadian World Cup game, which we'll talk about in just a second. There's plenty of room left on the 7 o'clock sailing for vehicles from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And as I mentioned, the road's pretty clear right now. Major routes not seeing much in the way of volume, no crashes. For the weather forecast, a very nice day. It's going to be a little more overcast. Sunny breaks, but cloudy as well, with temperatures still very warm and kind of humid, just not as warm as the last couple of days. It's been real warm for the last couple of days. So coming down to about 24 is a high with a humidex of 25. And again, breeze off the Juan de Fuca Strait. That wind's really going to pick up tonight. So we're going to start to get a little unsettled as our weather pattern changes, kind of coming in at us this evening is where we'll start to feel that with the winds coming up. Temperatures will get a little cooler, drop into 12. Then tomorrow, we start the day cloudy. By the afternoon, we get into a chance of showers, and we get into periods of rain by Thursday night. Those periods of rain should be with us for bits of Friday. By the end of Friday, though, it looks like it's kind of easing off. And then we will get into a dry weekend, but maybe still overcast and still cooler. Temperatures are going to be more in the high teens, maybe up to 20 degrees for Saturday and Sunday, as opposed to these very warm temperatures we've had for the last few days. So, yeah, the big change is kind of blowing in tonight and some rain with it for Thursday, Friday.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Canada takes on Switzerland this afternoon in Vancouver at BC Place Stadium for a chance to secure first place in Group B at the World Cup. CFAX will have the game on the radio. Lots of excitement about this. And, breaking down what it all means. I think it's kind of interesting what's happening with the stakes here. And it's been talked about a lot, but just to say it again. Mm-hmm. If we have a win or a draw today, if Canada has a win or a draw against Switzerland, okay, we would win the group because we have way more goals than anybody. So the goal differential goes our way. So even if we tie Switzerland, so we have the same amount of points, we would get the tiebreaker, which is we have more goals.
So in layman's terms, we're sitting pretty.
Yes, and then that means if we win, we get to stay in Vancouver for the next game, which is when you move to the knockout stages. And that's where, you play a game, and if you win, you move on. You lose, you leave. And it's called the group of 32. There's going to be 32 of those to start.
Okay.
And in that first one, if we win, we get that favorable position where we get to stay at BC Place Stadium, and we'll play a team that's a little lower in the tournament. So a slightly easier team, potentially. If we lose, we have to go. We would still move on, because we would still get enough points in the group to move on, but we would have to play our game in Los Angeles. And nobody wants that.
Well, it's interesting because it's still West Coast, but we're much more deeply invested, it seems, when it's more or less local right across the pond, and it's actually on Canadian soil.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference for following the team and the team spirit. And, there's a parade downtown Vancouver again today at 10 o'clock. All of these things happen, and they might happen if it was in LA, but it wouldn't be the same.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You want to see it on home field, and I think just the team as well to get that boost from having a home field crowd. Just that would be so cool. I would love to see it.
I think it makes a huge. Players have said it's not just this particular matchup, which is world class, but players have said time and time again that having the crowd behind them. And if you and I have both been on fields of different sizes where there's a big fan base sitting there introducing things, it does make a big difference. When you say something, when you do something, and the crowd immediately responds to you, there's a bit of sense of satisfaction there, instant gratification. I don't know if you've ever done theater. It's the same kind of thing. The theater becomes the pitch in this case. And when soccer players do the right thing and the crowd goes wild, they do hear.
Oh, yeah. It's all part of the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, pushing the team forward to a win, I think there actually is something to it. I can't, test to the science of it, but we are scientists on radio, aren't we?
Exactly.
We play doctors sometimes,
we
too.
play all kinds of things. So that's what's at stake today. Those are the stakes. A win or a draw means we top the group, and then we would play at BC Place Stadium again in that round of 32 knockout stage, which, by the way, is July 2nd. So that would be if we do
Canada
that.
Day. That's next Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, right after Canada Day.
Wow.
That's pretty good timing. So that's one of the storylines to follow. Another storyline to follow today it has to do with the captain of the Canadian team. This is Alphonso Davies, who hasn't had an appearance yet because he was injured, a hamstring injury, before the tournament began.
That's
This
right.
happened with he plays with Bayern Munich in Europe, and he had this injury then. He could, though, make an appearance today. This could be the first time. The coach, Jesse Marsh, has said he doesn't expect to start Alphonso Davies, but expects to bring him out at some point, substitute him in. So that'll be interesting. Could we see Captain Canada, Alphonso Davies, for the first time today? That's a storyline we're watching. Another thing to watch for is another injured player who obviously won't be there because he broke his leg in the last game. You remember this, of course, Ishmael Kone. That was a big...
That was horrible to watch,
horrible,
too.
dramatic part. There's going to be a little tribute to him before the game. There's a group of fans. They're called the Voyageurs. And they're going to be doing a march, a fan march to the stadium, to BC Place, starting at 10 this morning. And they're going to be waving number 8 signs during the march and also during play. I think they're planning to carry these signs into the game. You might see that if you're watching on TV. You might see a bunch of fans holding up number 8s. If you see that, that is a tribute to Ishmael Kone, the Canadian midfielder who broke his leg in that historic 6-0 win over Qatar last week.
And it's unfortunate for him. Obviously, he'll be by the sidelines possibly, but he won't be, on the pitch. And so you go so far with your team, and then this happens. So it must be crestfallen and difficult for him to, do. So fans are rallying, and again, team spirit. Everyone's on board.
Prime Minister Mark Carney scheduled to be there today as well.
In a T-shirt.
He's
Kind of weirds me out that he wears a T-shirt.
Well, he was in the jersey last time.
That's true,
And he
actually.
actually got the updated black jersey they were wearing. He got the fancy
He's
one.
got the cool quotient going on. Whether you like his politics or not, he knows how to blend or try to blend in the crowd. He was shaking hands at the last game and just basically generally fraternizing, where sometimes leaders like that, they don't. They're not, deeply involved with people. They'll stay behind the glass and keep themselves separate. I mean, obviously, there's security component to that, where you have to make sure that our leader is safe. So I think we have more police in Vancouver right now than we do have fans.
There's that too. A lot of security right now.
Well, that's not wrong.
Okay, well, the World Cup of Soccer. It's a big one for Canada versus Switzerland today. CFAX has it on the radio at noon. We'll be listening, we'll be watching, and we'll keep you posted as we follow it here this morning. Right now, we'll take a quick break. 6:30 news coming up with Lisa. We got your traffic and weather, too. Everything you need to know to start your day is next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Celebrate summer at the 59th Annual Saanich Strawberry Festival, Sunday, July 5th, 11 to 4 p.m. at Beaver Beach at Beaver Lake Regional Park.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hello, good morning. It is 6:30 on Wednesday, June 24th. It's going to be another warm day, just not quite as warm as yesterday. Clouds right now and about a 15-degree temperature. We've actually cooled off just a little bit before we start to warm up again. I'll get the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thank you, and good morning. We begin with criminal charges of robbery and assault laid against a 31-year-old man after separate attacks in Victoria, including the beating of a religious leader. Although police say the crimes were random last week. Vic PD say they were called late Thursday when the imam of a local mosque reported being assaulted by a man who tried to force him out of his vehicle. The BC Muslim Association and the National Council for Canadian Muslims both released statements of the attack, noting that the suspect went after the victim when he was wearing his traditional garments. The BC Association says that the suspect directed xenophobic remarks to the victim, telling him to, quote, go back to your home country. Police arrested the 31-year-old shortly after, but then another person called to say they had been attacked and robbed in the same area with a similar description of the suspect. Victoria Chief Fiona Wilson says random attacks like these are deeply unsettling and can erode the sense of safety that people feel in their own city. The province is making significant changes to the way it enforces natural resource-related regulations. A new BC Compliance Enforcement Agency made up of more than 400 staff will come into effect on Canada Day, which is next Wednesday. The agency will operate within the Ministry of Environment and Parks and will bring together the BC Conservation Service, Natural Resources Office Service, Compliance and Environmental Enforcement Branch, as well as the Assessment Office and 2 branches already within the Parks Ministry. It will also take on administrative monetary penalties of the Ministry of Mining and Critical Minerals and BC Parks, as well as licensing sanctions under the Wildlife Act for hunters and anglers. With the increasing number of people struggling to navigate complex support systems and access meaningful employment opportunities, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul here on Vancouver Island is hosting a non-traditional job fair later this week. Come as you are, low barrier job fair is planned for 11 to 2 Thursday at 833 8th Street downtown. The event is designed to help those experiencing barriers related to poverty, homelessness, mental health, challenges, social isolation, and long-term unemployment, helping them connect with employment opportunities, supports, and community resources. Staff say with the increasing number of people trying to navigate the complex support systems and access employment opportunities, this event aims to bring together organizations and services can help them take a step towards stability and self-sufficiency. Immigration Minister Lena Diab says she told her department to investigate when she became aware that something had happened to trigger a wave of citizenship document recalls. The minister didn't say during the news conference yesterday exactly what the problem led to, having a number of people getting emails last week ordering them to surrender their proof of citizenship.
I have taken this issue very, very seriously, coming from an immigrant family who understands how serious this all is. And I have instructed the department when the second I found out there were something that I wasn't sure what it was, to investigate.
The issue affected individuals who obtained citizenship by descent under a recently introduced law. The U.S. ambassador to Canada is providing more details and context about the negotiations to review CUSMA as the July 1st deadline for the trade agreement looms next Wednesday. CTV's Abigail Beeman has detail on Pete Hoekstra's exclusive interview with Vashi Kapelos.
Obviously, we're not anywhere close to announcing any type of a framework or an interim agreement.
Pete Hoekstra says the bones of a good deal were there in October, and Canadians don't understand the impact of what happened next when Ontario ran this ad featuring Ronald Reagan angering the president.
Are the talks unfrozen? The answer is yes. They've been unfrozen for a number of months.
But Hoekstra had a different message today.
In reality, they've never gotten back on track the same way. A good deal for both countries is the deal that we both look at and say, you know what, there's a win in here for us.
Hoekstra also denied that the U.S. ever took aim at Canada, despite Donald Trump's repeated digs at our country and throwing shade, saying Canada was one of 2 countries that pushed back against the implementation of its global trade policy. And in health news, Health Canada approving the weight loss drug Zepbound for treating obstructive sleep apnea in adults with obesity. It's the only GLP-1 medication in Canada authorized for the disorder, which causes people to stop breathing temporarily when they're deep asleep.
The approval comes after study results showed patients with obesity taking the drug had fewer breathing interruptions per hour. University Health Network sleep science expert Dr. Mandeep Singh says sleep apnea is often associated with obesity and so can be improved with weight loss. But he adds more studies are needed to see if the GLP-1 drug can help sleep apnea in patients who are not obese. He says the sleep disorder causes daytime sleepiness and can put people at risk of high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
That's your CFAX News at 6:36. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, have you changed your mind about the economic spinoff to come from the World Cup games in Vancouver and Toronto? 81% say no, not going to make a dent. You could vote at CFAX1070.com and the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:37.
Thank you, Lisa. We've come down to about 15 degrees in Victoria. Kind of hit the low point of the morning, which is still quite warm. It's very pleasant out there right now. And then we'll start to warm up to a high of about 24 degrees today. Still feeling a bit humid before it all starts to change tonight with some rain on the way for tomorrow and Friday. So we'll get the full forecast coming your way in just a moment, but there's a sneak peek. Right now, over to the sports, and we've been talking all about the World Cup of Soccer, so let's just mention again that Canada takes on Switzerland this afternoon at BC Place Stadium with a chance to secure first place in Group B at the World Cup with a win or a draw. That's all Canada needs, given the way things have all stacked up to move on and top the group and play its first knockout game in the round of 32 back at BC Place Stadium on July 2nd. That's what they could do if they get a win or a draw today. So we'll be watching that. CFAX will have the game on the radio today. Elsewhere at the World Cup, Bosnia takes on Qatar in Seattle to wrap up Group B play. In Group C, Brazil meets Scotland in Miami. Morocco faces Haiti in Atlanta. And the day ends with a pair of Group A games in Mexico. We've got South Korea facing South Africa and Mexico hosting Czechia. Victoria kicked off the Island Rivalry Series yesterday night with a win. This is the Harbour Cats baseball team claiming a 5-3 win over the Nanaimo Night Owls. The series continues tonight with the Harbour Cats hosting the Night Owls in Victoria, Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium for Game 2 of the Island Rivalry Series. 6:35 is the game time today. For the Toronto Blue Jays, they wrap up a 3-game series against the Houston Astros tonight. Yesterday, Toronto dropped a 9-7 decision to Houston in 11 innings at Rogers Centre, falling to 39-40 on the season. And that is your CFAX 1070 Sports. It's 6:39. CFAX 1070 Morning Show brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Need a cab? Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian-owned and run since 1946. Okay, roads. We got nothing as far as crashes or accidents right now. You can text me at 71010 if there are any problems. The gas main work, we'll mention that again. So that's just been an ongoing thing. It's kind of around about Caledonia right now, closer to the Cook Street side, but it'll be affecting some traffic today as well. It has been for a while, but just a reminder of that. It's one of the many little traffic snags that you'll hit coming in and out of downtown Victoria with construction season in full swing. BC Ferries, no sailing waits. 7 o'clock sailing is coming up. I wonder if we'll see a lot of red jerseys on the ferry as you're heading over this morning. If you're going from Sports Bay to Swanson, people may be going over for that Canada game at BC Place Stadium at the World Cup. For the weather forecast, today is a increasingly cloudy day. We'll see a little bit of breeze off the water, but otherwise still kind of warm and a little humid still. Not as much as the last couple of days where we really saw the peak, but today it's a high of 24, a humidex of 25. The temperatures are cooler by the water, per usual. But then tonight, the winds really start to gust. We'll see lows down to 12, so cooling off a bit more overnight tonight. And then by afternoon tomorrow, we're into a chance of showers. Highs only to 20 degrees tomorrow. Periods of rain expected overnight Thursday into Friday. Periods of rain expected to continue on Friday with temperatures only hitting about an 18-degree high in the rain. Then it clears up for Saturday, Sunday. We're just expecting some clouds, maybe a few sunny breaks, but temperatures still remaining a little cooler, but still very summery, just not quite as hot as it's been. Kind of 18, 19 degrees is the high over the weekend. Right now, at the University of Victoria, it's already 19 degrees. Here at 6:42 in the morning. It's 18 degrees in Colwood. On the markets, while the opening bells are just ringing, no results yet from early trading. Let's take a look at how things ended off yesterday. S&P TSX down 74 points. The Dow down 45. Canadian dollar overseas trading is down a little bit at 70.3 cents US. Oh, and the NASDAQ yesterday with a 579-point drop. There's been a lot of rocky stuff happening on the NASDAQ over the last couple of days with tech stocks, and nervous investors are awaiting a particular earnings report today, a chip maker called Micron. So that's got things going. We've got SpaceX. A lot of volatility on the NASDAQ seems to be one of the storylines playing out today.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, today there's a certain something in the air for a lot of families, and that is the fact that school is almost over, or maybe it is over. I don't know. It's different for every school and the school districts, different timelines. I know for my particular family,
yes,
I've got one high school age child who is having his final day of school today. So that routine is starting. The alarms are going off. People are waking up groggily, getting some cereal.
So did you have a discussion with him?
And
how's he spending his summer?
And today he's going in for his final day.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
So today he goes in one last time.
How old is he?
He's 15.
Oh,
so
he's at that cool point.
This is high school. So he's very excited to just get in there, get the yearbook, and get out. Start the summer.
Okay.
But then for my other kid who's in middle school, he's a bit younger. He's in grade, finishing off grade 6.
What's that mean, 12?
Yeah, exactly. He is going to be having one more day tomorrow.
Okay.
So, and I think some kids had their last day yesterday. So all across Greater Victoria, it's sort of a slightly different timeline. But whatever schedule you're on, congratulations on making it, everybody. You made it through the year. And it's either summer is here or summer is moments away.
I like that they have the little graduations for them when they pass, at the end of the year for pretty much every grade now. I know a friend whose daughter just graduated from grade 8. So it's nice when they mark those milestones for them, because I think it gives them a real sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
As to where they're at and where they're going next.
Oh, it's great.
And launches them into the summer.
Yeah.
Now what? What are you going to do? What's happening with them?
Well, I wanted to talk about this. This is not just a big moment for the school children. It's, of course, a big moment for the parents.
Right.
This is a big moment of change.
Yes.
Because on one hand, there's less pressure to make lunches now. Is
that what it is? Okay.
This is such a big deal
I'm living
for us.
Vicariously now.
This is such a big deal. The routine of daily, I've got to make the lunches for the kids
again.
again.
Good point. I never even thought of that.
And I mean, so
because you got to make it for yourself, possibly, and Do you get tired after you figure out something later for yourself after you made the lunches for them?
Yeah. You use all your mental capacity. Just like, okay, I got to figure out the lunch schedule and making
Are they
things.
picky eaters?
Oh, they can be.
Okay.
And so everybody's gonna have something different. And anyways, so on one hand, lunches are over. That's a remarkable thing. On the other hand, and I don't have this so much because I come in. My work day is here. I come and talk on the radio. I'm all good. My wife works at home, so this is also the time where
does she take the bulk of it then?
Now there's just children
she's
at
at
home all day
dear.
long.
Oh, dear.
And she's trying to work. And so
You're going to have to send her to the spa. Lindsay needs a treat.
So you got on one hand, you got no more lunches. On the other hand, they're just around all the time. So,
Wait, there's no summer camp or something? Do they do that?
We used to send them to summer camps.
Okay.
It's, they're a little old for it now. So they're kind of
teen camps?
Yeah, they're in that. Well, you can, but they don't want to.
Well, it's funny because at that age, I'm thinking of 15. There's days where they act so childish because they still are, and then there's days where you're looking them in the eye, going, "Gee, you're a young adult already."
Oh yeah, definitely.
This is kind of freaking me out. You know?
It's that weird mix of both.
And does it happen on a daily basis?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's a huge week for parents. It's a huge week for school kids, whatever it is. I hope everybody has a wonderful summer, which for the school kids is really beginning as of about now.
So if you're a parent, I'd like to know what you're doing to sort of launch your kids into the spring break, because I know a lot of parents
Summer break.
Sorry, my bad. Summer break, because I know a lot of parents are at sort of loose ends. It's like, this snuck up on me like Christmas does, and now I've got X amount of downtime where they need to have to do something. They need to have a day camp, or you just don't want to sit them home, sitting home bored. It's not like our parents did with us. You want them to be able to engage with their community and still be safe and do something. So if you have a plan that you're sending your kid to here or there, or you're having them do something cool, share that with us. Because I'd like to know.
7-10-10.
Yeah, I wish there was adult camps. Are there adult camps? I want to go. I want to learn archery all over again.
Oh, I like that.
It's a silly thing, right? It's like I want to learn how to like a band camp. Santa's has those kind of things.
For children, we need. I hear you.
We send children in need to different camps and stuff, and sometimes they just never have a chance to get out into the wilderness.
What you're saying is adults need a summer break too, and I am
really
on board.
Feel that.
Okay.
Is that really obvious?
6:47 to the headlines. Here's Lisa.
We have a small fire that started yesterday and didn't grow. It's under control. That's burning up island just south of Cumberland along the Island Highway. But be careful with fire. And they're asking, of course, to stamp out your cigarettes before you throw them out the car window if that's your thing. There's about 24 fires burning province-wide, 2 considered out of control. The Thompson-Nicola Regional District and the village of Lytton have lifted their evacuation orders and alerts due to the fire that was burning south of the community. About 230 properties given the all clear along that stretch of Highway 1. Some pretty dramatic photos of the flames burning just off the side of the highway on the weekend. But now the wildfire risk has reopened on Tuesday. The BC Wildfire Service downgraded the Sauk Creek fire to held, meaning it shouldn't grow past its current perimeter, and the weather conditions are working in favor of that. The Yukon Wildland Fire Management says lightning over the weekend sparked a rash of fires in the territory, but they say the early detection has mitigated their impact, so having eyes on the ground matters. The territory says 21 new wildfires were sparked in the Yukon last weekend. Almost all of them were due to lightning. And one person hospitalized after a cluster of overdoses in Vancouver. Police say 7 overdoses were reported Tuesday alone in the area of East 10th Avenue Commercial. 6 of the people required emergency overdose treatments at the scene, and 1 person was taken to hospital. That's your news to 6:49.
Thank you, Lisa. Texter at 71010 says, good morning. If you're a driver, this week means it's time to err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
With school zones still in effect, but also with school kids about to be on a whole different routine and out and about. So there you go. This texter says, silly Lisa, kids spend all their time on their phones.
Well, and the thing is that's
what we're trying to stop.
That's changing, because in LA, I've got a story in LA today that the LA school department is really cracking down on phone use in schools. So if we can get them to stop using the phones, I mean, we're all guilty as charged here. We do it, so kids do it too. But if we can get them to stop, they won't form that habit, which is nice. For drivers, a good habit, Because I always have my students ask me this. We're on a motorcycle, they say, well, school's out, so how do I handle a school zone? Well, you don't have to do 30, but you still have to look for kids. Right? So you should be watching for children in and around school zones, even
Just
though
always,
the 30 may not be in place.
Always do it. This texter says, yes, Ryan, yes, school is finished tomorrow in Duncan. My granddaughter is done tomorrow. Then she goes to grade 7. Time passes so fast. It seems she was just a baby yesterday. That's from Deb in Duncan.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a big week. It is the final week of school for most of our Greater Victoria area school kids, depending on your grades and your school district and all that stuff. We're going to take a break, though, right now. We'll get our traffic and weather in, and then we're going to talk about the Minto Cup. That's the big lacrosse tournament for the Junior A level, and Victoria is going to host the 2027 Cup. That has been announced. We're going to talk about that next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Celebrate summer at the 59th Annual Saanich Strawberry Festival, Sunday, July 5th, 11 to 4 p.m. at Beaver Beach at Beaver Lake Regional Park. Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Set the table for the weekend with BC Food and Wine Radio, pointing you to great wine buys, outstanding restaurants, insider stories, and all things connected to our amazing food and wine scene. Listen every week as Anthony Gismondi sits down with top winemakers, star chefs, proprietors, and more from all over BC and around the world. Don't miss BC Food and Wine Radio with Anthony Gismondi, Saturday afternoon at 1, right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show brought to you by Thrifty Foods, where first of the season wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived, fresh from the ocean, never frozen, delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. Texture reminding us that the gas line installation at Cook and Caledonia is still a thing. Single lane alternating traffic will be in effect a little later today because of that. It's one of the many snags in the downtown Victoria area, or the approaches to and from downtown Victoria, as summer roadwork season is in full swing there. But no crashes, accidents, or other major issues today. We're not seeing anything of note, but you can text me at 71010 if I'm wrong. No waits at BC Ferries, and the weather is it's going to be another warm, muggy day, just not quite as warm as yesterday. Highs at 24, humidex at 25, bit of breeze off the Juan de Fuca Strait. Those winds really pick up tonight, and that's sort of the change period, that unsettled moment between weather systems. That's happening tonight, lows to 12, and then by tomorrow afternoon, it's a chance of showers. By tomorrow night, it's rain, and that rain is kind of with us a bit on Friday as well before it clears up in time for the weekend.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, this is cool. The Minto Cup, which is the big one for the Junior A level of lacrosse, is going to be hosted by Victoria for 2027. The Junior A Shamrocks will be involved there, and their general manager, Rod Wade, is joining us now to talk more about this. Rod, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Ryan.
So great to get you here. So I'll need some help here just explaining, and for those who don't know, the Minto Cup. Talk about this and what it's all about.
Yeah, the Minto Cup is a national championship for Junior A lacrosse that is played every summer and played in the provinces of BC, Alberta, and Ontario. So this year, the Minto Cup will be hosted in Alberta. We hope to be there. We got a 5 more games in our regular season, and we'll be heading into the playoffs. So we really hope that we can earn our way in there and compete this year. And then next year it's in BC. So when it's in the host province, there'll be 2 teams. So when we host next year, there'll be 2 teams from BC. There'll be the Alberta champion and the Ontario champion. They haven't officially set the date, but it's usually in the 3rd week of August.
And what age group are we talking about when we talk about the junior A level?
All the way up to 21, so 16 to 21. So you got 5 years of junior lacrosse.
And then you go into the senior, like, the full Shamrocks as an example, that league. Yeah. Okay, so that's the level we're talking about. And it's going to be not just, here, it's going to be at the Q Center. So we're going to have it really local.
Yeah, we're, been excited to, be at the Q Center since 2004, cheering on the Shamrocks. And, we have, I've been fortunate enough to play in most buildings across Canada or be a part of it. I've been with the Senior A Shamrocks since 2012. So I've, got a chance to be in multiple Man Cups. And without a doubt, our Victoria fans are just so passionate, so knowledgeable. And I can't wait to bring the national championship to the Q Center, where I know our fans will support this, and hopefully we can bring home a championship.
Victoria is a lacrosse town, that is for sure. That is one thing I know about this town is we love our lacrosse, and we're going to love that the 2027 Minto Cup is going to be at the Q Center. So this is next year for that junior A level. And as you mentioned, this will be a couple of BC teams will get in, and then the champions from Alberta and Ontario will play in this. How do you determine the BC teams?
The BC teams will have the automatic bid, with being the host, and then we'll still play our playoffs, just normally. So if we go on to also win the playoff round next year, it'll be the team that we play in the finals will also have that second bid.
Okay.
So we'll play it out. And, if things don't go our way, and, we'll still have that automatic bid, and the team that wins the playoffs next year will have, the berth also in the Minto Cup. But we plan on, winning the playoffs, and then the second place team would get that second bid.
Gotcha. So the Junior A Shamrocks guaranteed to be in it, and then that sort of other top team will be the other one representing BC at the Minto Cup next year. Now, one last question for you. We're talking to Rod Wade. He's Junior A Shamrocks general manager with this exciting news. Let's just talk about this season. Tell me a bit about what's going on with the Junior A Shamrocks this year, because the Minto Cup, this conversation is looking ahead to next year. You mentioned you're kind of hoping to make it for this year. Just give us a quick sense of how things are going with this season.
Yeah, this season, we got off to, a bit of a bumpy start. We've had some key injuries to, some of our elite players that are just starting to come back. So some of them, like Luca Bavetta and Jet Klassen, haven't even got in the lineup yet. And we're super excited that they look to be, getting back either this weekend or next week. So happy to have them. We, lost one of our goaltenders for the season due to an injury that he had during his field season. So unfortunately, he'll be lost for the year. We got a trade deadline coming up at the end of the month, so we'll be looking to, tweak the lineup a bit, add some depth that we feel we need at certain positions. But right now, we're sitting at 7-5. We got a game tomorrow night in Nanaimo. One on the weekend in Burnaby, so hopefully we can put a few wins together. We look to be in a solid playoff spot, and we got so much confidence in our group that I think once we're healthy and get all the boys together, we're going to really show how elite we are. It's been a tough season for our coaching staff led by Dave Bremner. With these injuries, we knew about the 3 lads coming into the season, but each week we've been sort of losing key pieces. But we're all getting healthy now, and looking to make a good run here in July.
He's the general manager of the Junior A Shamrocks lacrosse team, Rod Wade. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of the season, and we'll be in touch about the Minto Cup next year.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
7 o'clock news next on CFAX.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 7:02 on this Wednesday, June 24th. It's another warm day, just not quite as warm as yesterday as the clouds roll in. Right now sitting at 16 degrees. Full forecast to come right now. Here's the news with Lisa Best.
Thank you. Immigration Minister Lena Diab says an investigation is underway after some people were mistakenly told to surrender their Canadian citizenship documents. The issue affected a small number of people who obtained citizenship by descent under Canada's recently introduced law.
I can clearly tell you that at this point we are not finalizing any new applications, and all applications are being reviewed. Those that are deemed to be okay are being told you're fine.
The minister said people who received citizenship proof and moved to Canada still have their status while this review is underway and will be able to continue working as well. In Montreal, some of the pomp and circumstance of Saint Jean-Baptiste Day may be subdued as a neighborhood grieves a horrific shooting.
The Côte des Neiges Business Development Corporation says it has cancelled Fête Nationale celebrations out of respect. Monday's shooting killed Montreal police officer Mohamed Lamine Ben Rodouane and a civilian. The alleged gunman, 25-year-old Seth Scott Hatfield of Lethbridge, Alberta, was also killed. Quebec media have reported Hatfield wrote a manifesto expressing hatred toward women and called for more violence. Montreal's mayor has said the shooting has resonated far beyond the city. Police in BC have warned forces across that province of the possibility of an anti-police manifesto following the shooting. Aaron Sousa, The Canadian Press.
In Ontario, a procession honoring a police constable fatally shot during a raid is set for this morning. Mourners expected to gather for the formal ceremony, remembering Constable Mark Pinizzato for the funeral service at the Toronto Congress Centre early this afternoon. They are expecting a lot of people, family members, police officers, and officials expected to attend, but it will be closed to the public. It will be broadcast live online. The 43-year-old shot June 11th while carrying out a search at a Toronto apartment building. He was the father of 14-year-old twins. Locally, Red builder Redvic looking to rebuild the landmark hotel on a lot that's been sitting fallow for 7 years at the corner of Government and Pandora. The hotel redevelopment application has been active for 603 Pandora for several years now. Redbrick says the site is now in the preliminary stages of redesign with the new project team in collaboration with local developer Arise. The site is the former historic Westholme Hotel, which opened in 1911. Of course, it is a prominent downtown site that's been fenced off since 2019 when that massive fire destroyed the previous building. And Bill Gates says Jeffrey Epstein tried to use his sex life against him. This in a newly released transcript by the House investigating Epstein.
Gates acknowledged he had 3 extramarital affairs, and when Epstein learned about 2 of them from a mutual acquaintance, he said Epstein began working to use information about my infidelities. The committee asked Gates about photos from the Epstein files showing him with women. Gates responded he did not know them. He said Epstein asked me to take a photo with one of his assistants, which I did.
Gates says he knew Epstein was a sex offender, but he'd hoped he would introduce him to wealthy people who could help the Gates Foundation. And that is your news to 7:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. Have you changed your mind about the economic spin-off that the World Games will bring to Vancouver and Toronto? Now, over 80% say it's not going to make a positive economic dent. You can vote at CFAX1070.com. Also, the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:06.
Thank you, Lisa. Let's just quickly check the temperature. We're now at 16 degrees. We are fairly warm still. It was one of those nights where it didn't cool off too much, and we'll eventually hit a high of 24 today. A little muggy still, but just not quite as warm and humid as the last couple of days. And then by tomorrow, we're really getting a shift in the weather with cooler temperatures and some rain coming. A full forecast to come. Right now, though, let's talk about the sports, and we'll get into soccer. First off, Canada takes on Switzerland this afternoon, noon our time, at BC Place Stadium at the World Cup of Soccer. And on the line is a chance to secure first place in Group B. A win or a draw is enough for Canada to claim the group, and that comes with some perks like getting to enter the round of 32, which is the first of the knockout stages, at BC Place Stadium on July 2nd. That's what we get if we win or draw. And if we lose, we'd end up still moving on, but going to LA to play Canada's next game. Another thing to watch for today, Canada coach Jesse Marsh says Captain Alphonso Davies is expected to see some action today. After missing time with a hamstring injury, he's not expected to start, but he might be out there as a substitute. It'll be the first time in the group stages here that we would see him on the field if it happens. Elsewhere at the World Cup, Bosnia takes on Qatar in Seattle to wrap up Group B play. In Group C, Brazil meets Scotland in Miami, and Morocco faces Haiti in Atlanta. And then the day ends with a pair of Group A games in Mexico as South Korea faces South Africa. And we also have Mexico hosting Czechia in Mexico City. Okay, local sports right now. Victoria Harbour Cats with a win over their island rival, the Nanaimo Night Owls. It was a 5-3 win for the Harbour Cats in this sort of islands rivalry series. We will see Game 2 in Victoria now at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium, before it shifts tomorrow back to Nanaimo. They've been kind of going back and forth with this 3-game series as far as where they're playing it. Toronto Blue Jays in action last night. Tough season debut for Shane Bieber. The Jays pitcher returned from an elbow injury and gave up 3 straight home runs in an eventual 9-7 extra innings loss to the Houston Astros. The Astros chased Bieber in the 4th inning after taking a 4-0 lead. That is your CFAX Sports to 7:09. Let's check CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's a fairly easy commute so far. We're not seeing so much in the way of volume delays out of the West Shore. For instance, I'm just using an example. Royal Roads University, if you're going from that part of Colwood into downtown Victoria, it's only taking you less than half an hour right now. Between 25 minutes and 30 minutes is the current commute time, which is lighter than it can be for sure on the West Shore commute. Do watch out for the gas main construction now causing single-lane alternating traffic for the area of Caledonia near Cook Street. That is going to be a little later today when that kicks in, but something to watch out for on the commute today. No waits at BC Ferries, and the weather forecast is changing a little bit as well. We've got today still warm and muggy like it's been the last couple of days, just a little cooler. Highs of 24, humidex of 25. And clouds rolling in over the course of the day. Then tonight is when the unsettled weather change kind of starts to happen. Real big gusts of wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait coming at us. Overnight, we'll see lows to 12. By tomorrow afternoon, we got the chance of showers. By tomorrow night, we're seeing periods of rain. We get periods of rain on Friday, which should start to ease off, though, by the time we hit later into the day Friday. Then it looks like we're done with the rain. Saturday, Sunday look dry, maybe a little overcast, but dry, with temperatures remaining a little on the cooler side, comparatively speaking. Still very pleasant, 18 degrees-ish as a high temperature for Saturday, Sunday, give or take. Still very warm, just not quite as warm as we've had with this little heat event we've been in for the last few days. And texture at 71010 says maybe people could make themselves aware some school zones are 30 24/7, even if we're getting out of school time. It's the last week of school for a lot of kids. This texture says, I live by Victor Brodeur School, and people rarely do 30 on Head Street.
Yeah. And the thing is, if it's a designated playground zone as well, it will be 30 dawn till dusk. So you do have to read the sign and know. But you're right. 30 means 40 to many.
Yeah.
And that's a hefty speeding ticket.
Well, there you go. School's out for a lot of kids this week, but some of those 30 signs still remain. Okay, let's get over to our business news and checking the markets. Okay, what's happening? S&P TSX has started the day down 190 to 34,736. The Dow has gained 160 to 51,827. And the NASDAQ, which has been dropping a lot this week, is now up 112 to 25,699. Canadian dollar at 70.3 cents US, which is down a bit from yesterday's close.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Anything to do with this story always feels so personal to me. I don't know if this resonates with everybody because you didn't get chased out of your workplace by a fire. But whenever there's a story to do with the old building at the corner of Government and Pandora where the Monty's strip club used to be, the old Century Plaza Hotel. It was many other things, but this big building that burned to the ground in a catastrophic fire in 2019, back in the news because it's been an empty pit since 2019. It's just been an empty lot. Nothing's happened there.
I have a question.
But it's but hang on, I'll just finish my sentence. It's in the news because new owners of the property are pitching another hotel for that spot. So they are working on redeveloping a plan to build a hotel there. Anyways, what was your question?
Did you trigger when you heard the news?
About this? Yes, I did, because just to remind everybody, what happened in 2019 is this building went up
because we were right there.
Yeah, so the CFAX studios, right now we're broadcasting from Esquimalt. Hello, here we are in Esquimalt, but we used to be at the corner of Broad and Pandora, which was next door to this fire. And we were all at work that day where the fire started. I remember coming in myself. The fire was already going because it kind of had been happening overnight. And I got called in early because there was this story to cover next door. So I got on my bike. I'm biking in. And just as I'm approaching downtown, I remember looking up and seeing the column of smoke, which rose high into the sky, so high you could see it from Port Angeles. People in the United States were looking across the water going, what's going on over there? Because this column of smoke was so dramatic. Yeah. That was the fire. And then we were at first just covering it because, hey, it's in the news and it's right there. But as the day went on and then into the next day and the fire was still burning because it took a while to get this fire out, the building we were in started to fill with smoke and we had to leave. And then we had to broadcast. I think this is the part that was more traumatic for me. It wasn't so much the fire. It was trying to run a radio station out of the basement of the Empress Hotel for a while. We were at the Delta Ocean Point Hotel, which were beautiful spots. And it was great to be in these cool hotels to broadcast. But yeah, the stress of trying to keep the radio station going from these remote locations is what I always think about whenever I hear about this story.
100%.
What about you?
Yeah. Basically everything you just said. It started when we were on the morning show and walked outside and fire crews were on scene and all the bells and whistles were going off in the building. And I just kind of looked at it and I realized it was an old derelict building and this is going to be a while. So it has been, and I guess 7 years in the making now that hopefully now that void will be filled and something new will go in there.
Yeah, so here's what we know. So it used to be owned by a different developer. Ocean Gate was their name. And they had pitched a 12-story hotel that got denied by Victoria City Council because it was too tall. I think there's a 5-story height limit or something along those lines. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like 5 stories is the height limit. The developer said the only way this makes economic sense is for us to build it higher. The City Council did not approve that. So that hotel never went ahead. And then that developer sold the land off. But now it's been bought by this local builder called Red Brick, and they want to take a go at it. So they are in the preliminary stages of putting together a plan for what they say will be a hotel. And we'll see where it goes.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's the news. At 7:16, let's get to the rest of the headlines. What's going on, Lisa?
A senator is warning that Canada's goal of boosting trade with other countries outside of the U.S. could be thwarted by its new pesticide rules. Bill C-30 passed last week. It includes a change to Canada's Pest Control Products Act that allows Cabinet to override Health Canada and authorize the use of banned pesticides. Senator Rose Galvez says this works against the government's goal of diversifying trade. She cited an example from last year where France rejected Canada's lentils due to residual levels of a herbicide that was applied to it. A group of local First Nations and advocates looking to repatriate Indigenous items from Switzerland, they say they need to raise about $20 million to make it happen. The items include sacred pipes, intricately beaded regalia, and firearms that are being housed privately at a privately owned museum near Zurich, Switzerland. But unfortunately, it closed last year. The group says many of the items are believed to originate from First Nation communities from Manitoba, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, as well as Lakota Nations in the U.S. It says that $20 million includes the estimated cost of the artifacts, as well as hiring experts to fully authenticate them before we ship them over here. And archaeologists have discovered a huge Viking-age textile production site in Denmark that dates back more than 1,000 years and underlines the sophistication of Viking society. Expert from the Mosgard Museum says that week that the sprawling, more than 1 million square foot site features an area of processing flax as well as 80 pit houses. The semi-buried huts were used as workshops and dwellings in Viking times. A historian says goods and resources were likely brought from the country and settlements, this one, to enter an extensive international trade network. So the Vikings had their own thing going on. That's your news to 7:18.
Another story we're following in the news is in Langford, where there's an old fire hall on Happy Valley Road. It's the old number 2 fire hall. It hasn't been used as a fire hall in a while. In fact, I think it's been used to store the old, those trolley cars that used to run around Langford as like a bit of an alternative bus service. Well, they were stored there for a bit. So that was one of the uses for this fire hall. But now Langford would like to see that property get developed into something totally different. They would like to see a housing development with a medical clinic involved. And they're looking for a development partner to join them in this. Let's find out more. The mayor of Langford joins us next to talk more about that proposal. We'll do traffic and weather first, though. If you see a problem out there at 71010, give us a text. CFAX 1070 Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season. Big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, no specific crashes or accidents today, but lots of people are talking about school zones because it's the final week of school for a lot of kids. School's still in session for a lot of schools, by the way. It's like the final day for some high schools today. Some had yesterday, some left tomorrow. So it's not like school zones are done now, but we're getting there, and that's why we're talking about it. This texter 71010 says, "Hey Ryan, many school zones have been changed to marked playground zones, which means a speed limit 30 kilometers an hour from dawn to dusk, regardless of, school being in session or not." So that's, again, just a good thing to think about. It doesn't necessarily mean you can now start blasting through those areas with schools. Check the sign. Read the sign. No crashes or accidents right now. We have a fairly light commute from the West Shore into the downtown Victoria area. It's still taking less than 30 minutes if you're going from about, say, the Royal Roads area of Colwood into downtown Victoria. I'd call that lighter than usual for the West Shore commute. No waits at BC Ferries, and in the weather forecast, increasing clouds over the course of today. Another warm, humid day. Temperatures up to 24, humidex 25. The wind really starts gusting tonight, lows to 12, and then tomorrow by afternoon we're into a chance of showers. By tomorrow night, we're into some rain that'll last into Friday, and temperatures are definitely cooling off a little bit. Highs tomorrow of 20, highs of Friday of 18 degrees in the rain.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
In Langford on Happy Valley Road, it used to be a fire hall. Then it was the trolley hall holding all those old trolley buses that used to go around Langford. Now, could it become a mixed-use building involving housing and a medical clinic? That is the plan from Langford Council, and we've got Scott Goodmanson, the mayor of Langford, joining us on the line. Sir, how you doing?
Doing well, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. So talk about this plan here. So I guess it's just early stages. You're looking for a partner to help develop this. You've got this request for proposals out, but talk us through what you want to do.
Well, we know that healthcare and housing are two more big important things that not just across the city, but across the country. And more and more municipalities are having to find ways to deal with this. So what we've got is an idea. We are working already well with the South Island Primary Care Society. We've had the two clinics working with them, and we know it takes a couple of years to get a clinic going. So we wanted to get going right away as fast as we could. So what we're able to do on this project is leverage some land that the city owns, which is a trolley hall, and then a house that the city bought a while ago beside it. And the deal is we'll put our land up, and we're putting a call out for any developers. It can be for market, it can be nonprofit. In fact, we've already had the nonprofit show some interest. Put in a building that is a bit of a mixed use. On the ground floor, we would love to see something like a small restaurant or a craft coffee shop, something that, the residents can walk to and can use regularly, and is open at all different times of the day. And then we could see something like a pharmacy going in there as well, because we know that when this goes through, you're going to have all these new patients, and they're going to need a new pharmacy. And then the second floor, we're looking at about a 4,500 square foot clinic, which is about the same size as the one we put in on Bryn Mawr. And then above that, some variation in level of housing. Who the developer is, whoever puts in the proposal, each person is going to have their own design, their own flavor. And we just want to find the best use for that land so that we can get that clinic in.
Now, would the idea be the city of Langford would continue to own the property even after it's all built, or how does that ownership work?
We would be giving up the property, but we would still own what we would own is the clinic.
Okay.
Both clinic space. So I'm coughing here. In perpetuity, we would have the ownership of the clinic.
Now, you mentioned that this would be kind of like some of the other stuff you've done in partnership with the South Island Primary Care Society. Let's talk a bit about what that looks like, because you did you've done a couple of these, as you've mentioned. What does that model look like?
So what we've done with them is that in both cases, the spaces are provided for them by the city, and then they run the clinic. What that means is the doctors that come in, they don't have to worry about running the clinic. They come in, they doctor, they leave. The society, they're the ones that brings in the assistants and the office staff, and worry about the running of the office. And they've got a great track record of bringing doctors in. For our large one, when we announced that we were doing this, they had the 10 doctors hired within about a month. The biggest trouble is just getting them through the paperwork into Canada. But already of the 10 that they hired, 5 are working in the office right now, and they seem to have a good handle on this. Having the doctors just do what they want to do, and that is being a doctor, and having the Primary Care Society do what they know how to do, and that is run the offices, and then the city help with land and so on. This makes a good partnership.
That is what Langford is trying to get going there on that former Trolley Hall site, as you mentioned. That is early stages, though. So you got this request for proposals going out. Just talk us through the next steps here. What happens next with this idea? So
once people have sort of received the proposals, and it'll be out publicly, we are not making any predetermined designs other than just sort of the general. We'd like to see something on the bottom and the doctor's office on top. We are not saying exactly how many units it has to be. We're not saying, what the makeup of them has to be, what they look like. We want to see what people can imagine. We want to see what designers out there can come up with. When we first came into power and we had a meeting with a developer group, at the end of the meeting, a bunch of architects came up and said, can we design something new? And I said, design what you want. What do you mean? And they said, can we just design stuff that is different? And we said, yeah. So this is an example. That's what they can come up with.
Well, we got to leave it there because we're out of time, but we'll follow that story. It's early days, but that's the hope from Langford that they can put together at that former Trolley Hall site some housing, a medical clinic, some other storefronts. It's the dream there. Scott Goodmanson, Mayor of Langford, thanks for talking to us today.
You're very welcome, sir.
We'll take a quick break here. We got the 7:30 news next. Your sports as well with Team Canada in action against Switzerland at the World Cup. We got everything you need to know coming up next.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which
is on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
It's 7:31 on Wednesday, June 24th. Another warm, humid day, just not quite as warm as yesterday, and a little cloudier, too. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thank you. Talking about wildfires first. That new fire that sparked yesterday along Island Highway south of Cumberland was quickly contained by local crews. The BC Wildfire Service said it had initial attack crews and a bucket helicopter on the scene with help of the Cumberland Fire Department. There's currently 24 active fires burning province-wide. 2 of them are burning out of control, both on the mainland, everything on Vancouver Island. I think there's 2 or 3, and they're all under control. City Council will consult the neighborhood about the establishment of extreme weather response shelter at the St. Andrew Anglican Church. The shelter would be operated by the Beacon Community Services, open only during extreme weather conditions. A similar center will be put in place along the City North Saanich. A library operating without incident over 7 nights and serving 15 people, primarily older adults that were already connected to services at St. Andrews. Community members are invited to share feedback ahead of Council's consideration of the application that will happen on July 13th. Victoria General Hospital getting a new infant panda warmer. The professional firefighters of Greater Victoria have donated over $45,000 towards a controlled open warming environment for newborns who need some help maintaining their body temperature after birth or during medical care. Emily Aldridge shared the story of her 4-year-old sons and the 33-day stay they had in a specialized unit after being born at just 31 weeks.
I don't think I'll ever be able to truly convey what it felt like, but I didn't know any of these people. They had no idea who I was when I walked through the door. And by the second day, they were calling my unborn boys Jack and Cooper. And they acted like family and they supported us like one. And it starts the second you walk through the door. So my success, their success, the fact that they're 5 and they're thriving is not ours alone. And it takes an absolute village. And this is a village that I can't thank enough.
Nearly 3,000 babies are born at VGH on an annual basis, and a lot of them need help to start their lives. Ottawa expected to now say the process of designating 2 key Arctic infrastructure projects as being in the national interest.
The projects are the first Ottawa has signaled it will elevate to become projects of national interest under the Building Canada Act, which allows the government to fast-track approvals and allow them to skirt some environmental laws. The 2 projects are the Grays Bay Road and Port Project in Nunavut and the Mackenzie Valley Highway Project in the Northwest Territories that are to be announced at a news conference in Yellowknife. The Grays Bay Project would see a 230-kilometer all-season road built through the Northwest Territories and Nunavut, unlocking mining opportunities for critical minerals in the north. The Mackenzie Valley Highway Project would see an all-season road from Yellowknife to Inuvik, cutting down travel times and passing through communities currently accessible only by air, winter roads, or barges. David Augustine, The Canadian Press.
Adam Van Couverden, the Federal Secretary of State for Sport and Canada's designated FIFA Sherpa, met with players and staff of Canada's soccer's men's national team at the practice facility in Vancouver yesterday. During the visit, Adam gave the team the Canadian flag that flew atop Parliament Hill's iconic Peace Tower on Friday, June 12th. That day, synonymous to the Canada's opening match. FIFA Sherpa Adam Van Couverden will be live on CFAX at 8:50 to share more about Canada facing Switzerland in the World Cup at noon today in Vancouver, a game that you can catch live right here on CFAX. And while many are raving about the excitement of the games and the energy they've brought to Vancouver and Toronto, more and more fans are raising red flags about the cost of food and drinks.
It's really expensive.
I mean, it is a premium. It's definitely a premium.
You have no choice. If you want to drink beer, that's what you pay.
Too much?
Too much, yes.
Like regular beer costing $18, water costing $7, and there's one item that's getting a lot of attention, articulated by YouTuber Jetlag Warriors.
2 weenies and 2 Cokes, $57.
That item has since been lowered to $51.75. And while the prices are high, FIFA says they aren't to blame. Food and beverage pricing at FIFA World Cup stadiums is broadly in line with pricing at regular events held at each respective venue.
Nonetheless, over 50,000 fans of Vancouver today will be eating and drinking and cheering Canada on. That's your news at 7:36. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning, we're asking, have you changed your mind on the possible economic spin-off of the World Games in Vancouver and Toronto? 80% say nope, it's not going to make an economic dent. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:37.
Thank you, Lisa. 17 degrees downtown. It's 19 degrees in Langford right now. That is the warm weather forecast as we head towards another warm, kind of humid day, although not quite as hot as the last couple of days. Full forecast to come. Let's talk about the sports right now. At the World Cup of Soccer, Canada takes on Switzerland. At the World Cup, this is the final game of the Group B for Canada, and if we win this one or tie this one against Switzerland, we would get to top the group and move on to the round of 32 with kind of a home field advantage with BC Place Stadium as the setting of that game on July 2nd. If we lose the game, we still move on, just we'd have to play in LA. So that's one of the storylines to follow today at the World Cup of Soccer. CFAX 1070 will have the game on the radio starting at noon, and I got a text message here at 7:10 saying, well, what does that mean for Adam Sterling? Well, don't worry. Adam is with you at 11 o'clock this morning. He'll break away at noon for the game, and then he's back right after the game with more Adam content right after the World Cup here on the radio. But I digress. Let's get back to the sports. What else is going on for the baseball scene? Toronto Blue Jays wrap up a 3-game series against the Houston Astros tonight. And Toronto dropped a 9-7 decision to Houston in 11 innings last night at the Rogers Centre, falling to 39-40 on the season with that result. For local baseball, the Victoria Harbour Cats beat the Nanaimo Night Owls in their Island Rivalry Series, which got underway in Nanaimo last night. So a 5-3 win for Victoria. The next game tonight is shifting to the Royal Athletic Park Wilsons Group Stadium. Same two teams, and then they'll cap things off back in Nanaimo tomorrow. So that's going on in local baseball. And for tennis, Canada's Bianca Andreescu faces Switzerland and Switzerland's Jill Teichmann in the second round of Wimbledon women's qualifying today, trying to get to Wimbledon. We'll see how Canada does there, and that is your sports to 7:39. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather at 7:40 here on a Wednesday morning. That's the day. And we are taking a look at a day that's actually looking a little lighter than usual. Commute times from the West Shore into Victoria have been on the light side. There's some volume delays out there, but it's not as bad as it can be. And we have no crashes or accidents facing your day. We do have construction-related delays. The single-lane alternating situation for Caledonia is now around about Cook Street, where they're doing that gas main installation. Full closure at Government Street, 24/7. Government Street at Bay, and it goes all the way up to John Street, which is just north of Bay. So that is a full closure, which is going to go for a month, and it's 24/7. Just a reminder again that that's now in effect as of this week. For the weather forecast, lots happening here. So we're going to have one more of these warm, humid days today. It's not quite as warm as the last couple of days, but a high of 24, humidex at 25 is what you can expect. Tonight, though, it starts to change, starts to get really unsettled, especially if you're by the Wandafuka Strait. The gusts of wind will really start to come in as a new weather system blows in. That weather system is bringing with it more clouds and a chance of showers for tomorrow afternoon, periods of rain for tomorrow night into Friday, and periods of rain on Friday. Temperatures also cooling off as well. Temperatures will only be a high of 20 tomorrow, a high of 18 on Friday. It looks like it dries up for the weekend. Saturday and Sunday looking cloudy with temperatures up to the high teens. Right now, it's quite warm. We stayed quite warm overnight. In Brentwood Bay, I'm looking at 19 degrees. In Oak Bay, it's 15. On the markets in Toronto, S&P TSX down 207 points to 34,719. The Dow in New York is up 205 to 51,872. The Nasdaq is up 80 to 25,667 after a pretty rocky start to the week for the Nasdaq, starting to make some gains again after some big drops. And the Canadian dollar is at 70.2 cents US, which is down just a little bit from yesterday's close.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, we still are waiting for a song that involves the word boots. It hasn't happened yet, if you're wondering.
When's it happening?
Well, later, sometime this morning. You gotta listen. You know, who knows when?
Can you give us a ballpark?
No, it's sometime between now and 9 a.m. How's that?
Okay. We got an hour and 15 minutes to play with.
So this is, of course, for the Kinky Boots, the musical tickets we have to give away to opening night. It's a Tony and Grammy Award-winning musical, which will be at the Royal Theatre, not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. So this is what we got tickets for. It's really cool. Cyndi Lauper involved in this musical. She kind of created the music for it. It's based on her music, and it's something my wife saw in New York actually many years ago.
Nice.
She raved about it.
Oh, yeah.
Really cool to see it coming to Victoria at the Royal Theatre. And there's a whole run of days, but opening night is 2 Tuesdays from now. If you want to go, all you got to do is this. We're going to play a song that involves boots. It's just going to mention boots somewhere.
We got it.
Yeah. And then
We've
when you
had
hear...
lots of boot songs. We had Boot Scoot Boogie.
Yeah, we did that one.
Shania Twain.
So another one's coming
Boots on
at
the
you.
Beds. Yep.
Another one's coming at you. When you hear it, call 250-386-1161. That's the number.
Yep.
And we'll take a call at that time. And if you are the lucky caller, you'll get the tickets.
Love it.
And we got more tickets to give away all this week. We're going to be doing it every day. So listen for those boot songs. Coming up in a moment, we're going to check in with a local farmer because gas prices are still a big story. They've come down a little bit. But, you know, a couple months ago, we were in the middle of the Iran war and the gas prices were going crazy. One of the things we talked about was how is this going for local farmers who rely on fuel for their tractors and other farm equipment, and in an industry that is not exactly known for making a ton of money.
Well, they're pretty close to the bone, and the fact that they use diesel, and diesel's much higher than regular gas.
Yeah, so that was kind of a scary situation a couple of months ago. So it's time for a follow-up. We're going to reach out to one of the farmers out at Mitchell's Farms on the peninsula to see have things improved at all, as we're starting to see some gas prices come down. But, the inflation rate, the Statistics Canada numbers that came out this week suggested inflation is up and gas prices are to blame. So let's talk about that coming up in just a moment. 7:45 right now. Here are the headlines with Lisa.
Good morning. 2 Arctic roads and a nuclear waste repository in Ontario are the first 3 projects that the federal government wants designated as being in the national interest. A trio of federal ministers are in Yellowknife today announcing they are seeking that status for the Grays Bay Road and Port Project, the Mackenzie Valley Highway Project, and the Nuclear Waste Management Organization's Geological Repository. They need to go through a consultation process before the designation is confirmed, and it could still be years before those projects are finalized. A man accused in a Toronto gold heist has received 13 years in U.S. prison for gun running. The U.S. State Attorney's Office's 27-year-old Durante King McLean, who's been staying in Florida, pleaded guilty last year to conspiring to traffic firearms. Authorities say he's one of the suspects in that massive gold and cash heist from Toronto's Pearson Airport. A lot of that has not yet been recovered. AI world models are the next frontier for computer scientists who see too many limitations in the AI language models being behind popular chatbots. The field is attracting top scientists like the godfather of AI, Fei-Fei Liu and Yann LeCun. They believe AI should learn the statistical structure of space and time, not just text. There's still plenty of money to be had from AI chatbots. Investors are counting on it as they commit trillions of dollars to leading developers on Anthropic and OpenAI. And that's your news to 746.
Traffic and weather coming up. If you see a problem, text us at 71010. Or if you see a beautiful, smooth situation that's going better than usual, you can tell us that too. We can have positive vibes in the traffic. Sure we can.
Yeah.
Text us at 71010. But Terry Mitchell, local farmer with Mitchell's Farms, joining us next to talk about the year's season and how gas prices are continuing to affect things. Or are they? We'll ask.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just biggest headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is 7:49. No problems on the roads. No crashes or accidents. No other tie-ups, except for the usual construction-related delays. Texters reminding us of the single-lane alternating traffic, which will be Caledonia near Cook for the gas main installation, which has been kind of going along that stretch for the last few weeks, it seems. For the weather forecast, that's where things are interesting. We're kind of in a final day of the warm, humid period we've been in. It's a little cooler, but still very warm today. High at 24, humidex at 25. More cloudy, though, today. A little more overcast. The real change starts to roll in tonight with the wind starting to gust. The temperature's coming down to 12. Tomorrow, the chance of showers starts to arrive in the afternoon and turns into a slightly heavier... I don't want to use the word heavy. Periods of rain. Just, we won't necessarily see showers tomorrow afternoon. Just a chance. We might see some sprinkles. But some periods of rain by nighttime on Thursday, and then some rain into Friday. It dries up for the weekend. Saturday and Sunday looking overcast for the most part, but drier. And temperatures do stay a little more moderate, sort of down into the high teens through the weekend. Right now, that's where we're at. We're at the high teens for the official temperature in Victoria. At the Victoria International Airport, it's 16 degrees, but we're already seeing almost 20 degrees in some places. In Langford, I'm seeing 20. Around the University of Victoria, it's 20 degrees, so it's a warm start to the day. It's been a warm night.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
You know who will like to hear that some rain's in the forecast? I think that's farmers. We got one of them on the line with us right now from Mitchell's Farm. Terry Mitchell, how you doing?
Good morning, Ryan. Very well, thank you.
Yeah, got some rain in the forecast. Get some watering out there.
So it appears it'll be welcome for sure. Mind you, we don't like to see too much rain at this time of the year because of all the fruit that's being harvested, raspberries and strawberries and things like that. But no, if there's some rain coming, that's welcome for pretty much all the other crops. So we'll take whatever comes.
Awesome. I want to talk to you about what you're growing in a minute, but let's talk about trying to farm this year in the midst of world events that have pushed fuel prices to pretty big highs. And even just this week, the StatsCan numbers came out for the inflation rate. BC's inflation rate, a little more modest than the national average, but still gas prices are being blamed for pushing the inflation rate up. And we spoke with you just a couple months ago, back when the Iran war was causing huge spikes in fuel prices, and we were talking about how that's affecting farmers. So we just wanted to follow up. How have things been when it comes to the gas prices and trying to make it through the season?
Well, ourselves and many farmers, we're all about the same boat type of thing, but the diesel's been up 50%, and the gas has been approximately 30% on the last 3 months. So it's significant cost to us because we're very heavy into the fuel usage, planting in the spring and irrigating with pumps and one thing and another. So yeah, it has affected quite a bit, our input costs and basically, and also the delivery costs that things get delivered to us. There's always fuel surcharges on that, and it's just on basically everything you purchase.
Is it coming down at all? Like, because we are noticing regular gas prices and world oil prices coming down. Are you noticing your fuel costs coming down?
Yes, we are noticing it come down now. So we'll see where it all ends up here, but it's still much higher than it was. It's nice to see the trend going down rather than up. That's for sure. It's going to help us out a lot.
Okay. And even though it's coming down, like you mentioned, you've already had a few months of these higher prices. What does that do for your year?
Well, it's added over $25,000 dollars to our fuel costs in the last two or 3 months on just our equipment that we use here. Yeah, it's significant. But as you say, it's going down, and we're looking for it to drop more as much as possible because every farm's going to be using fuel right through until basically September, October, and November. So if it does go down, well, then that's good. I'm not sure if we see the reflection in the prices that are up. Locally, we see that the prices for local produce are up a bit, but we're still well within reason on price for local produce because a lot of the import produce now is very, very high priced. So that's helping us. We're selling more product locally. All the farm stands are very busy. The farm markets around Victoria, I understand, are very busy. So a lot of people are shopping locally as much as possible.
Oh, and is that because you mentioned you haven't had to raise prices too much? It sounds like, and is that because you're just seeing more business, more people are buying stuff from local farms?
Well, every farm in BC competes with one another basically, and it doesn't always reflect when we have a lot of product. Of course, we price it attractively so we sell more because we do have highs and lows on quantity and that when it comes online with heat changes and water, rain, and one thing and another. So we do have peaks where local produce, sometimes their price is dropped a bit for a week or 10 days, probably below what it should be, but we all want to move our product. We don't want to disc anything back into the field, that's for sure. So if there's a lot of oversupply, then the price obviously does come down.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out how, like, when you're faced with tens of thousands of dollars in extra fuel costs, even though they're coming down, you've already had to pay for that higher period. Like, how do you recover from that, or how do you make that up? Because you can only charge so much for a head of lettuce or, a pint of raspberries or whatever it is.
Yes,
how do you kind of make that back?
Well, we've noticed that most, basically it affects pretty much all farmers. So we do have to put it up a few percentages for sure, and that helps to recoup a certain amount of it. But sometimes you don't really notice it till the end of the year when you're all done your crops. So we'll see how it all works out. But the pretty much all the farmers have put their their prices up a few percentages, that's for sure, just to cover the costs that we've incurred this year.
But I guess the bottom line, you're still going, and it's not going to stop you.
No, I don't think so. We order our seeds months in advance and things like that, so we pretty much got to keep going here. And there's a demand for local produce, obviously, and all farmers, they're very busy right now with, in the middle of harvesting, fruits, lots of raspberries on the go these days, starting blueberries. There's lots of local produce out there, very wide range of local produce now. Most farms are harvesting a wide range of crops. And so, locally, there's a lot of product available. And, it won't be long now. Corn will be starting. So that's probably, although the weather's changing a little bit now, of course, the corn loves the heat and lots of water. So, but I think the temperatures are coming down a bit. But I think within the next 10 days or, within 2 weeks, you're going to see, local corn in the market also.
Oh, wow. I'll have to confess, I was at the Mitchell's Farm stand there off of Island View Road, but Pepe Highway last weekend. Got lots of the raspberries. Got to recommend the raspberries. They're really good right now at the farm.
Oh, they are, yes, because we've had good dry weather on the raspberries, and if it doesn't rain too much, the quality will be very good on all local produce wherever you're shopping with the local berries and things. It'll be very good as far as we're looking into the future here with the weather that we're going to get.
We're following up with Terry Mitchell, one of our local farmers. He's, of course, at Mitchell's Farm out there on the peninsula, but just checking in on how farmers in general are doing. With the gas prices this year, it was a story we definitely were following pretty closely a month or two ago when gas prices were astronomical, and that certainly was playing out for diesel in tractors. How have they made it through? Well, it sounds like they're making it through, and gas prices are coming down a bit, but, it's been an expensive year. Thanks so much for giving us the update.
Yeah, thanks very much. And yes, it has been. Prices obviously have, we've incurred a lot more costs this year. So I appreciate letting the public know that we are up against very much higher prices. Yeah. So thanks so much.
Support your local farmers. A lot of great produce is out there right now and grown right here on Vancouver Island. All right, Terry Mitchell, thanks for talking.
Thank you very much.
Well, we'll take a quick break here because we got the 8 o'clock news next. But so much is going on today. We're going to play a Kinky Boots related boot song at some point on the show. So you haven't missed it if you've been waiting for it. That'll be your cue to call 250-386-1161 for tickets to Kinky Boots at the Royal Theatre. Because the opening night's just less than a couple of weeks away now. We've also got your traffic, weather, sports, including a preview of the World Cup soccer match, Canada-Switzerland today. All you need to know about that, too, coming up next.
CFAX Victoria,
an iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 8 o'clock on Wednesday, June 24th, the last of our kind of really warm, humid days in Victoria today before some rain comes in tomorrow. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning. A blue-green algae advisory in place for the main beach at Lower Thetis Lake in Thetis Lake Regional Park. We knew that was probably coming. We just didn't know when. The CRD and Island Health says an advisory also remains in place for Beaver Lake in the Elk Beaver Lake Regional Park. That algae can produce cyanotoxins. It can make us sick, but it can be deadly for dogs. Keep your dog in a leash and away from the water. Definitely don't let them drink it. The algae usually produces a visible blue-green sheen, which appears as surface scum in the water, but not all blooms are easy to see, and the toxins can still be present in the water even if you don't see the blooms, so keep yourself safe. Criminal charges of robbery and assault have been laid after separate attacks in Victoria, including the beating of a religious leader last Thursday, although police say the crimes now they believe were random. Police called to to incident of an imam of a local mosque being reportedly assaulted Thursday. And a man tried to force him out of his vehicle and then hit him. The BC Muslims Association and the National Council of Canadian Museums, Muslims that is, both released statements after the attack, noting that the suspect went after the victim when he was wearing traditional garments. The BC Association says the suspect directed xenophobic remarks to the victim, telling him to go back to your home country. Police arrested a 31-year-old man shortly afterwards, but then another person called to say they had been attacked and robbed in the same area and had a similar description of the suspect. Victoria Chief Fiona Wilson says these random attacks are deeply unsettling and can erode the sense of safety that people feel in their own city. The BC government is making significant changes to the way it reinforces natural resource-related regulations. A new BC compliance and enforcement agency made up of about 400 staff will come into effect next Wednesday, Canada Day. The news agency will operate within the Ministry of Environment and Parks. It will also take on administrative monetary penalties from the Ministry of Mining and Critical Minerals and BC Parks, as well as licensing sanctions under the Wildlife Act for hunters and anglers. The Immigration Minister, Lena Diab, said she told her apartments to investigate when she became aware that something had happened to trigger a wave of citizenship document recalls. The minister didn't say during a news conference yesterday exactly what the problem led to. An unknown amount of people getting emails last week ordering them to surrender their proof of citizenship.
I have taken this issue very, very seriously, coming from an immigrant family who understands how serious this all is. And I have instructed the department when the second I found out there were something that I wasn't sure what it was, to investigate.
The issue affected people who obtained citizenship by descent under Canada's recently introduced law. The federal government has announced the first 3 projects it once designated as being in the national interest. Transport Minister Steve McKinnon spoke at a news conference in Yellowknife last hour.
The first 2 projects, the Mackenzie Valley Highway and the Grays Bay Road and Port Project, are nation-building initiatives. They are about strengthening Arctic sovereignty, creating economic opportunity, and supporting the communities that call the North home.
He said the third project is a nuclear waste repository in Ontario. They need to go through a consultation process before the design is confirmed, and that could be years down the road. The U.S. Ambassador to Canada providing more details and context about negotiations to review CUSMA, as that July 1st deadline for the trade agreement looms next Wednesday. CTV's Abigail Beeman has the details on Pete Hoekstra's exclusive interview with Vashi Capellos.
Obviously, we're not anywhere close to announcing any type of a framework or an interim agreement.
Pete Hoekstra says the bones of a good deal were there in October, and Canadians don't understand the impact of what happened next when Ontario ran this ad featuring Ronald Reagan angering the president.
Are the talks unfrozen? The answer is yes. They've been unfrozen for a number of months.
But Hoekstra had a different message today.
In reality, they've never gotten back on track the same way. A good deal for both countries is the deal that we both look at and say, you know what, there's a win in here for us.
Hoekstra has denied that the U.S. ever took aim at Canada despite Donald Trump's repeated digs at our country, saying Canada was one of 2 countries that pushed back against the implementation of its global trade policy. That's your news to 8:05. our CFAX 1070 news poll question. Have you changed your mind on the economic spin-off of the World Cup games in Vancouver and Toronto? About 80% say no, they don't think it's going to make an economic dent. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com. Also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 8:07.
Thank you, Lisa. We have another warm, muggy day today, but just not as much as the last couple of days. Eventually hitting a high of 24, feeling like 25 in the humidity. Right now it's 20 degrees in Victoria, and we got a full forecast coming your way in just a moment. Rain is coming tomorrow, though. That's the spoiler alert. CFAX 1070 Sports. Let's start with the World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg, and Canada's men's soccer team will play its biggest game ever later today in Vancouver. Canada takes on Switzerland at 3 p.m. Eastern. A win or a tie against the 19th ranked in the world Swiss, and Canada will clinch Group B.
Staying here in Vancouver is definitely our number one goal. 2 years ago, everybody thought I was crazy. That prospect at the time wouldn't be possible, but this is where I expected us to be.
Canadian coach Jesse Marsh. If they lose and finish second in the group, they'll play with 3 days rest in Los Angeles. Canada is likely to start Nathan Saliba at midfield in place of the injured Ishmael Kone. And Marsh says while Alphonso Davies won't start, he's expected to see action today. Group stage games today will also be played between Bosnia and Qatar in Group B. In Group A, Mexico meets Czechia, and in Group C, it's Brazil and Scotland. Yesterday, England had 19 shots but couldn't score in a 0-0 tie with Ghana. Ronaldo scored twice in Portugal's 5-0 win over Uzbekistan. Croatia defeated Panama 1-0 in Toronto, and Colombia got by DR Congo also 1-0. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
And right here on CFAX 1070 Radio, we'll have that World Cup game at noon today on the radio. A quick look at some other sports in baseball. Victoria Harbour Cats kicked off their Island rivalry series against the Nanaimo Night Owls with a 5-3 win last night. So Victoria takes the first of three. Tonight's game is going to be back, or I should say, is going to be in Victoria with the Royal Athletic Park Wilson's Group Stadium, the scene of tonight's game, then back to Nanaimo for tomorrow's Game 3. And Toronto Blue Jays in action. Tough debut for Shane Bieber, Toronto Blue Jays pitcher returning from an elbow injury, and gave up 3 straight home runs right away in an eventual 9-7 extra innings loss to the Houston Astros. The Astros chased Bieber in the 4th inning after taking a 4-0 lead. Those two teams will go again today, the 3rd game of the series today. That's your CFAX 1070 Sports to 8:09. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. By the way, the morning show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. First of the season, wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived. Fresh from the ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. Okay, to the traffic and weather. No crashes or accidents right now. I've got no major blips on the commute. If you see something, though, do text me at 71010. Let us know. If you're commuting from Souk to Victoria, it's taking you about 55 minutes on average right now. That's the commute time. It's not so bad compared to some days. And in fact, speaking of Souk traffic, we're going to be talking to the mayor of Souk coming up because they have been long talking about should there be a second route kind of out of Souk instead of that one Souk Road route that takes the Souk River Bridge and can often get, severed if a problem happens, and then all of a sudden you got no other way around. Well, we're going to talk to the mayor of Souk about the update there as the efforts to put that second route in are not really going anywhere, it sounds like. I digress. We'll get into that coming up in a few moments. For the weather forecast, we are going to be looking at increasing clouds over the course of the day, but still kind of warm and muggy. A high of 24, humidex of 25. Tonight, the winds start to gust off the Juan de Fuca Strait. The weather starts to change. We're going to have a low of 12 overnight. Clouds to start tomorrow. Chance of showers by the afternoon. Rain by tomorrow night. Rain through Friday, although easing off later into Friday and then drying up on the weekend. Although staying a bit cooler. Temperatures for the next few days more like the high teens instead of these warm, humid days we've been having. Right now, 20 degrees at the airport. Texture says, are the Kinky Boots tickets for opening night happening again? Yeah, we'll play a song that involves boots somewhere this hour, Texter. You just got to wait. You never know when it's going to happen. Somewhere will be a song. You got to listen for it. And call in at 250-386-1161 when you hear a boot song to be the winner today. Let's take a look at the markets. S&P TSX down 129 in Toronto. The Dow Jones in New York is up 350 points to 52,017. The NASDAQ is up 175 to 25,762. Canadian dollar at 70.2 cents U.S.
What are the limits of human knowledge?
Welcome to the Nerd Lab.
Yes, science!
CFAX science stuff.
Science! Yeah!
Blinded me with science!
I don't know what that means.
With Ryan and Lisa.
Yes, welcome to the Nerd Lab. Lisa, what do you got for us?
And they called it Puppy Love.
So I have questions.
Okay.
You have a dog.
I do?
Do you hug your dog?
Yes, actually, my dog hugs me.
Oh,
It
wow.
kind of goes both ways.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
And do you tell your dog you love them?
Yes, and I sing it ridiculous songs all the time.
Okay.
In weird voices.
Well, that works. You know, you're a singer, so you got to practice on the dog or practice on someone who's going to have a keen ear to it. Wow, dogs can hear things. So it does make a difference when you pay attention to your pet, and there's science behind it.
Right.
Saying "I love you" actually makes your dog's heart race.
Really?
A study by Canine Cottages measured how dogs respond to affectionate words. Hearing "I love you" led to a 46% increase in their heart rate. So the resting heart rate around 67 beats per minute, it jumped to 98 beats when the owner said that phrase to them.
So a lot of dogs know the words?
Well, how many words does your dog know?
Well, I'll just finish. Do they recognize the word, or is it sort of more the emotional,
good point,
kind of
is
tone,
it your tone
that you're communicating?
Is it your tone? Because you can say something to your dog in a certain tone,
Yeah, and they get
think,
that, yeah.
They think you're praising them when you're actually, cajoling them. So it depends. But I would believe it's sort of a combo. They're also reading you too. They're reading your body language. Dogs show and feel excitement in response to that. Verbal affection excites them. The physical affection, when you hug them, or your dog hugs you apparently, has the opposite effect. Cuddling causes your dog's heart rate to drop for an average about 23%, which indicates they feel calm and safe. So for you, what does it do for you? Your own heart rate also reacts. When you tell your dog that you love them, your heart rate will jump too slightly. Research also shows the human heart rate increases about 10% just from seeing their dog after you've been away for a while.
Aww.
That reunited feeling.
This all tracks.
So we know Donnie had it right.
And they called it Puppy Love.
Maybe not in the same vein, but you know what? When you hug your dog and when you tell your dog you like them and that they're a good boy or girl, it makes a big difference.
Another word my dog might know, along with walk, along with...
Don't do that.
Along with down, no, off the table.
Stop.
Don't steal that food. Other words my dog knows.
Your working household.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, it's 8:15. What's going on in the news? Here's Lisa.
Something different happening coming up this weekend. Saanich Volunteer Service Society is going really old school with a fundraiser. Staff are hosting a Victorian picnic from 11 till 3. That is Saturday. That's at McRae House. That's a historic farmhouse. It was built in 1901. It's celebrating its 125th anniversary. Costumes you can wear include hats and parasols. Those are encouraged. There'll be live entertainment, guided tours of the house, lawn games, tarot card readings, food, drink, drink and prizes, all happening at 1445 Ocean View Road from 11 to 3 Saturday. That is McRae House. A group of First Nation leaders and advocates looking to repatriate Indigenous items from Switzerland. They say they need to raise about $20 million to make that happen. The items include sacred pipes, intricately beaded regalia, and firearms. They're all being housed at a privately owned museum near Zurich, Switzerland, but unfortunately it closed last year. The group says many of the items are believed to originate from First Nation communities in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Ontario. The $20 million needed includes the estimates of examining the artifacts to ensure that they are authentic. Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to be in Vancouver today to watch Team Canada take on Switzerland in their final World Cup group stage match. The kickoff happening noon local time. CFAX will bring you all the action live as it happens, so listen to us as you go about your day. A fan march at the stadium starting at 10 this morning at the intersection of Quebec and Central Street. The Voyageur fan group will be waving thousands of number 8 signs during the match, paying tribute to fallen Canadian midfielder Ishmael Kone. He broke his leg in Thursday's 6-0 matchup against Cotter. That's your news to 8:17.
Thank you, Lisa. Texter at 71010 says, good morning, Ryan and Lisa. Today is International St. John Ambulance Day that is celebrated worldwide. A heartfelt thank you to all of our many thousands of dedicated and caring volunteers and our staff as well. It's a day to celebrate the millions of lives that have been positively impacted, saving lives at home, work, and play. St. John's Ambulance Day. That's from David. Thank you for texting in and letting us know. Okay, the mayor of Souk is joining us next. For a long time, there's been this debate in that community about whether or not they needed another route out. You've only got Souk Road crossing the Souk River Bridge. That's it. That's the only way out. Could there be another option? Well, that story, that idea has had an update, and the mayor of Souk is joining us next.
Set the table for the weekend with BC Food and Wine Radio, pointing you to great wine buys, outstanding restaurants, insider stories, and all things connected to our amazing food and wine scene. Listen every week as Anthony Gismondi sits down with top winemakers, star chefs, proprietors, and more from all over BC and around the world. Don't miss BC Food and Wine Radio with Anthony Gismondi, Saturday afternoon at 1, right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX traffic and weather. By the way, texters coming in at 7:10:10 talking about our dog science. Lisa was telling us a few moments ago that, heart rate monitoring on dogs does show that if you tell them you love them, their heart rate goes up. And when you cuddle them, their heart rate goes down. This texter, though, says, hey, shush with the dog words. My dog now thinks it's going for a walk and getting a treat. That's Tina in Esquimalt watching with my dog.
That's better than offering your child a pony and an espresso.
Yeah. This texter says, good morning, guys. Telling them you love them can send vibrational energy as well. You have to raise your vibe and feel it. Telling them you love them without that raise in your own vibration might not do the same thing.
I think people would respond the same way. Telling someone you love them and not meaning it, people can kind of tell.
Yeah. It's all about your energy. It's your energy that's calm and peaceful that helps them out with the hug. Yeah, I do feel like it's you can really project emotion with animals, and they pick up on it. It's really cool. And I think it goes beyond
Try
dogs.
telling your partner you love them when you're mad.
Yeah.
And see if they believe you.
Same thing.
But you don't love me right now. Maybe later.
Anyways, I digress. Let's talk about traffic real quick. No problems, no crashes, no accidents. If you're coming from Souk into downtown Victoria, downtown Souk to downtown Victoria, that's about a 55-minute drive right now. Just as an example of the commute, I would call that lighter than usual. And for the weather forecast, we've got increasing clouds today, highs of 24, but a bit humid again, highs of 25 with the humidity. But it's cooler than the last couple of days, just look quite warm. Rain's coming at us tomorrow.
Let's get started.
Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
All right. I mentioned Souk and the commute in the traffic. That's because we're about to talk about Souk and trying to get in and out of town, where you got Souk Road crossing the Souk River Bridge. That's the one way in and out. Occasionally, that causes trouble when you get some kind of problem on that route. So there's been long talked about this potential other route, the Throop Road, Phillips Road connector. It's been discussed, but it might be that current vision is hitting a bit of a snag. Let's find out more. We got the mayor of Souk, Maya Tate, on the line. Hello, how are you?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Great to talk to you today. So maybe back this up and remind us of what's going on here for those who haven't been following as closely, because I know there's people in Souk who have been following this closely forever. In fact, I think there was a referendum on this back in the 2000s in Souk, whether or not you should do this. This is a route that has long been discussed. Where is it at right now?
Yes, that is correct. So there was a referendum back in 2005 that failed. The community did not want to progress this particular connection. That's fine. However, 20 years later, development happens, commuting happens. And so over time, since 2020, a new transportation master plan was developed that explored this particular connector. So the one portion that has no road on it would be a connection from Phillips Road to Throop Road. So for folks that know where Sea Park Arena is, it would be on the pool side of the arena and would go over the gully and connect to Throop Road where Journey Middle School is. And then we would enter in the actual road network that exists there. And so we have heard over time that we need to continue to advance this connection so that traffic is dispersed as it comes into Souk. So transportation study in 2018 indicates that perhaps about 30% of Highway 14 traffic would be diverted over onto this new connection. And then as further development came on stream down Grant Road or perhaps in the Wadhams area, that would increase over time. Now, the challenge is this is a particularly challenging part to cross. It's not level. There is quite a gully in that area. For anyone that's walked down there, it's steep terrain. It's a natural corridor, and there's no road. So the entire thing would need to be leveled out. There would need to be a bridge. There would need to be retaining walls, and so expensive. So where this advanced to our meeting this past week was to look at one particular section, and it would be just to do the Phillips to Throop, but we're looking at about $20 million at a minimum. So council hit a snag or perhaps a dead end in looking at what would the width of the road be? Would it be staff are proposing with engineering best practice that this would be a roundabout? There was discussions that perhaps it could be a T intersection or a stoplight, that we don't need to put in the full road width. Maybe it should be partial. But it's one of those things that if you're going to do it, perhaps you should do it right the first time. But in the end, we're out of term and time. And I think at this point, council resolved to put a pause on this. We're heading into an election. There'll be a new council on board, and perhaps they can workshop it and come up with something when more effective decision-making is underway.
So there's the bottom line. The council this week, that was the decision to kind of put this on hold for now. a new council can take it on. That was council's decision. How did you feel personally about that decision? Which way would you have gone on this?
There was an opportunity to advance to even a plebiscite, non-binding, to ask a question: is this a priority for the community? Should we even advance and continue work on this road at all? I was sort of in favor of that I was in favor of that just to see where the community sits on this particular connection and those that and where it stands. Considerable amount of time and effort, tax dollars for staffing time, consulting time, studies and the like are used every year at a time when we're hitting increasing in taxes and other priorities come to mind. This is one section of an overall road. Traffic in other parts of Souk, we have failing intersections as it is. So do we borrow everything and spend all our time on one connection to offset 30% of traffic? That decision did not go ahead, so it's fine. In the end, there was a sense, well, we could get grants for this, and we just need to do the roads. But all the grants available right now are for active transportation, for sidewalks, for infrastructure, for multimodal use, not just for roads. So you can't take a grant for active transportation. We got one from the province. Thank you, province. You can't take a grant for bike lanes and sidewalks and use it for road construction. We'd have to give that grant back. So that's why there needs to be, I think, just discussion on we couldn't decide on even whether it was going to be a roundabout or a T intersection. I'm not in support of a T intersection. If you're going to do this at all, then do it right the first time.
Well, either way, I guess it's a task for another council now, as Sioux Council right now this week has decided, at least at the moment, not to move forward with any of this. But I guess we'll see what happens down the road. I got to leave it there, though. Mayor Maya Tate of Souk is here. Much appreciated. Good luck with the rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Love to hear from commuters and to hear your point on this. And remember, there's an election happening. Thanks for your time. Look forward to seeing who's running. Take care. Thank you.
Coming up in October, and we'll be following it here on CFAX 1070, the Civic Elections. The Coastal Heat Pumps brings you the show, by the way, for a comfortable home no matter the season. Big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. We got your 8:30 news next, and we're going to be talking about the World Cup of Soccer, Canada versus Switzerland, coming up today. And yes, it will be on the radio right here on CFAX 1070.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Celebrate summer at the 59th Annual Saanich Strawberry Festival, Sunday, July 5th, 11 to 4 p.m. at Beaver Beach at Beaver Lake Regional Park.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hello, good morning. It's 8:31 on this Wednesday, June 24th. Another warm, humid day, although not quite as much so as the last couple of days. We'll give you the full forecast in just a moment. I'll let you know we're already at 20 degrees, though, in Victoria here at 8:31 in the morning. And here's the news with Lisa Best.
With a couple hot days under a belt, you know what's next. That blue-green algae advisory now in place for another waterway. No swimming at Lower Thetis Lake in the Thetis Lake Regional Park. The CRD Island Health says the advisory also remains in place for Beaver Lake, located in the Elkin Beaver Lake Regional Park. Blue-green algae can produce cyanotoxins that can make us sick, but it can be deadly for dogs and other pets. The algae usually produces a visible blue-green sheen, but it's not always apparently easily seen. It can appear as surface scum, but even if it doesn't, it can be in the water, even if you don't see the bloom, so be aware. Vic PD have laid charges in connection with two incidents last Thursday downtown. CTV Vancouver Island's Kate Hutchinson has details.
Victoria police have arrested one man in connection to an alleged attack on a local Muslim leader. Imam Ibrahim Gadot says he was attacked in downtown Victoria last Thursday while sitting in his car with his wife near Fort and Cook Street when a stranger opened the driver's door and attempted to pull him out. Police say 31-year-old Vincent Edward Abraham is facing charges in relation to two separate attacks on that same day. Earlier in the evening, the suspect allegedly struck and robbed a separate victim. Abraham is charged with robbery and assault causing bodily harm, as well as robbery and assault with a weapon.
Langford is getting a new child care center. Beacon Community Services will operate the new Center for Kids from babies to 5-year-olds on Goldstream Avenue. It will open in the fall in September in conjunction with school getting back. Beacon Little Tides Early Learning Center will be located within a building owned by Pacifica Housing. The center is inviting families and community members to attend the open house, which will be Saturday from 10 to noon at 612 Goldstream Avenue in Langford. Two Arctic roads are among the first projects that the federal government wants designated as being a national interest. Ottawa is seeking the status of the Grays Bay Road and Port Project, also known as the Mackenzie Valley Highway Project. Today in Yellowknife, Transport Minister Steve McKinnon announced a third project.
The Nuclear Waste Management Organization's Deep Geological Repository, located in northwestern Ontario near Wabigoon Lake, Ojibwe Nation, and the township of Ignace. This project is designed to provide the safe, long-term management of Canada's used nuclear fuel.
Officials say they're looking for a 2030 timeline for the nuclear waste repository in Ontario. In health news, Health Canada has approved the weight loss drug Zepbound for treating obstructive sleep apnea in adults with obesity. It's the only GLP-1 medication in Canada authorized for the disorder, which causes people to stop breathing temporarily while they're deep asleep.
The approval comes after study results showed patients with obesity taking the drug had fewer breathing interruptions per hour. University Health Network sleep science expert Dr. Mandeep Singh says sleep apnea is often associated with obesity and so can be improved with weight loss. But he adds more studies are needed to see if the GLP-1 drug can help sleep apnea in patients who are not obese. He says the sleep disorder causes daytime sleepiness and can put people at risk of high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
We baby warm again today, but there's a life-threatening heat wave that's smothering much of Western and Southern Europe.
In France, it was the hottest day on record. Icons of Paris, the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre had to close early to keep tourists safe. With hundreds of schools closed and trains cancelled, crowds are flocking to lakes and rivers to beat the heat. But that's caused a surge in drowning deaths. And in Europe, AC is not that common.
I haven't stopped sweating since the second I woke up this morning.
You're just living on fans.
Experts warn of a dangerous heat dome looming over continental Europe.
Here in Greater Victoria, we'll move into the upper teens by this weekend. That's your news to 8:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. Have you changed your mind about the possible economic spin-off for the World Cup games in Vancouver and Toronto? Today at noon, CFAX will bring you that game live. Canada and Switzerland, but 78% say they're not confident it's going to make an economic dent. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 8:37.
Thanks, Lisa. We are going to have another warm, humid day, just a little cooler than the last couple of days, but still warm and humid. 25 in the humidity is the temperature you can expect. It's all changing tonight, and by tomorrow, we're into some rain. Full forecast to come, but right now it's sports time, and we hear that Swiss supporters have already been gathering at Vancouver's Olympic Village Square for their fan march to BC Place Stadium. Both fans will be doing their marches. We'll have the Canadian fans too, of course, because it's Canada versus Switzerland. BC Place Stadium at noon today. Also right here on the radio will be your home on radio for the game, Lisa.
Is this like a fan-off that's happening on the streets of Vancouver?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting because I understand the Swiss consulate is telling the Swiss fans to have their red shirts ready, their flags packed, and their cowbells polished.
Well, that's not fair. They're pulling out the cowbell?
They have cowbells.
We got to figure something out.
I guess.
Vuvuzuela.
Swiss, yeah.
Vuvuzelas.
That was the South African
That's
one.
right.
That was great.
Those are great.
Anyway, so that's what you got to contend with today, Canadian fans, is the cowbells. That's what the Swiss fans are packing.
We're going to step up.
This is a big one.
Guaranteed.
This is a big one. So Canada versus Switzerland. It is the final match for this Group B. Canada will win the group, be the top in the group with either a win or a tie. Those are the results we're looking for Canada to top the group and then get a favorable position going into the knockout stage of the tournament, which is coming up next. It's the first stage of that is called the Group of 32, or the knockout stage of 32. If we win or tie today, we would get to play in BC Place Stadium on July 2nd and have a favorable matchup. If we lose to Switzerland, we still move on. We still have enough points in the group to move on, but we would probably, I think we do play in LA in that's case. So we wouldn't get the BC Place Stadium game.
Doesn't have the same feels.
No. So that's what we're really rooting for today. Stay tuned to CFAX 1070. We will be carrying the game coming up at noon today. And I've had a lot of people wondering, what does that mean for Adam? People are texting, well, what about Adam's show?
Right.
Adam Sterling, still on the radio at 11 o'clock this morning, so you'll still get his take on the world and local content right up until noon. Then he'll come back right after the game around about 2 o'clock, or, whenever the game comes to an end. So, yeah, Adam is just bookending the whole thing. That's what's going on.
He's a big fan.
Yeah.
He's making way for the soccer.
And speaking of this game, we're going to have a guest coming up in a few moments. He's a guy, you might recognize this name as an Olympian for Canada. He competed in like 4 or 5 Olympic Games for Canada.
Huge.
Adam Van Koeverden is now a member of Parliament. He's Secretary of State for Sport in the Carney government. And he's also something called the FIFA Sherpa.
I love it.
I don't know what that means. We're gonna
actually had to look it up.
Yeah? Okay, well, do you know what it means, FIFA Sherpa? What is that?
He's kind of the go-to guy. But he can explain it better, but he's it.
Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to meet Canada's FIFA Sherpa, also MP and Secretary of State for Sport. That's coming up in a few moments. Also, don't go anywhere because we still haven't played the song that involves boots. That's your cue to call for the Kinky Boots tickets. It's still coming sometime between now and 9.
You worked hard in your garden. Don't let the deer turn it into a buffet. Protect your backyard with fencing options from Borden Mercantile on Borden Street near Quadra and Mackenzie.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's 8:41. See a problem out there? Let me know. It's 7:10:10. But right now, it's looking pretty clear. In fact, the West Shore commute's been pretty easygoing, comparatively speaking. We're starting to see those traffic volumes that were there from the West Shore into Victoria easing up as we speak. So we're starting to get into that part of the commute where things start to lighten off. No waits at BC Ferries. And the weather, there's a lot to unpack in the weather. So today is the last of our kind of hot, humid days. It's still very summery and pleasant going on from here. It's just the extra heat and humidity that we have experienced over the last few days is still with us today, but it starts to leave the forecast as of tonight. A high of 24 today, humidex 25. A little cooler than the last couple of days. Tonight, the winds really pick up, so we're going to start to see that unsettled weather change pattern happen tonight with gusts off the water, lows down to 12, increasing clouds through tomorrow until we get to a chance of showers in the afternoon, and rain overnight Thursday into Friday. We'll get some periods of rain Friday as well, starting to ease off as Friday goes on. And then drying up for the weekend. Saturday and Sunday look dry, but still kind of overcast, and temperatures only for the next few days after today hitting a high of about 18 to 20 degrees. So still great temperatures, just not quite as warm as the last few days once we hit tomorrow and beyond. Right now, the temperature is 20 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto now down 138 to 34,788. The Dow in New York has leapt up 514 to 52,181. The Nasdaq has gained 172 to 25,759. And the Canadian dollar at 70.3 cents US, which is basically where it's been all day. It is down a little bit from yesterday's close. It's kind of where it started the day.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Step out of the wilderness, all squint-eyed and confused. But even babies raised by wolves, they know exactly when they've been used. See, when it starts to fall apart, man, it really falls apart. Like boots or hearts, or when they start, they really fall apart.
He said boots. You hear that? That means
you got it.
That means it's your cue to call 250-386-1161, because whenever you hear a song that references boots, you call in, and if you're the lucky caller, you're going to win a pair of tickets to see Kinky Boots the musical coming to the Royal Theatre this July, and we got tickets to opening night Tuesday, July 7th. Let's go to the phone lines.
Okay.
I'm just going to pick a caller here.
Right, do that one.
That one.
That one,
I
yeah.
did. Okay.
Thank you.
Who's this?
Hi, this is Louis.
Louis. Oh, I've got there's like phones ringing and everything here. Louis, how you doing today?
Good morning. I was trying hard to get through.
Well.
Yeah, you did. Look at this, Louis. So you know that song. Did you know it had boots in it, or did you have to wait a while?
I knew it had boots in it.
Okay, so you were just
heard
you were primed and ready. So that's what I get to play a sound effect for you. You are going to go see Kinky Boots the musical, the Tony and Grammy Award-winning presentation from Broadway in Victoria. You're going to opening night, Tuesday, July the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds great.
Louis, that's great. What are you up to this morning? What are you doing?
Well, I am going to drive the kids to the park today.
Is that because they're off school?
That's their school kids, actually. School bus driver today.
You're a school bus driver?
Yeah.
You need these tickets to go see a show. You need an outing.
Yeah. The preschoolers.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wow. Now, is it a crazy time right now? It's sort of the last week of school for a lot of kids. Is there like just energy off the wall right now?
Yeah, we're pretty much wrapping up for the summer.
Are they bouncing around the bus?
They try not to, no.
Right.
Okay.
Try. Emphasis on the try.
Louis, hang on the line. I'm going to take some information from you off the air to get you your tickets, and we will give away more tickets all this week. So if you missed out today, don't worry. Tomorrow and Friday, more chances to win. Okay, while I talk to Louis, let's get to the headlines. Here's Lisa with the news.
Next door in Alberta, charges laid after a fire at a luxury car dealership in Calgary. It caused an estimated $10 million in damage. Police say 25 luxury vehicles at the dealership went up in smoke in March. 3 Calgary residents now charged with arson. Police say there's no evidence to suggest the business owner had any involvement in the incident or any connection with the suspects. It's unclear whether international weapons investigators will begin to monitor or to access damaged nuclear sites in Iran. The head of the UN nuclear agency signaled that Iranian nuclear enrichment sites would be visited by his inspectors, a key component of the interim U.S.-Iran deal to reach the end of the war. However, Iran's deputy foreign minister said such a visit would only come after the final deal was inked. The dueling narratives are playing out on a range of issues, including Israel's war with Iran-based Hezbollah militants in Lebanon and how Tehran will spend billions of dollars once they're unfrozen. And Adam Van Koeverden, the Federal Secretary of Sport and Canada's designated FIFA Sherpa, met with players and staff of Canada's soccer men's national team at their practice facility at BC Place in Vancouver yesterday. During the visit, Adam presented the team with a Canadian flag, the same flag that flew atop Parliament Hill's iconic Peace Tower on Friday, June 12th, the same day of Canada's opening match. FIFA Sherpa Adam Van Koeverden will be coming up next on CFAX at 8:50 to talk more about Canada facing Switzerland in the World Cup at noon today. And, of course, CFAX is going to bring you all live coverage starting at noon from the pitch. That's your headline news to 8:48.
Congratulations again to bus driver Louie for winning the tickets to Kiki Boots. That's coming up in a few moments. We're going to change topics, though, and get to the World Cup, Canada versus Switzerland today. We were talking earlier about how the Swiss fans are armed with cowbells.
Yeah.
Well, this texter at 71010 says, "Good morning, Ryan and Lisa. Don't worry, we've got drums.
Good.
Go Canada."
Good.
Says Chris.
Got a whole band going.
You know who's an interesting person in all of this is Canada's FIFA Sherpa. What does that mean? He's the Secretary of State for Sport, also a local a member of Parliament in Ontario, but he's Canada's Secretary of State for Sport, and he is also an Olympian himself, Adam Van Koeverden. He's going to be joining us in just a moment to talk about his role as FIFA Sherpa as we get towards today's big game for Canada versus Switzerland. That's all next.
Get ready to strut, Victoria. The Tony and Grammy Award-winning hit musical Kinky Boots is coming to the Royal Theatre this July. And CFAX 1070 wants to send you to opening night. Based on true events, Kinky Boots follows the journey of an unlikely pair who discovered that you change the world when you change your mind. Tickets are on sale now. Or you could win your way in with CFAX. Listen to Mornings with Ryan and Lisa for your chance to win. Details at CFAX1070.com.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. First of the season, wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived. It's fresh from the ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. On the roads, no crashes or accidents right now. Text us at 71010 if you see something. No sailing waits at BC Ferries. If you are taking the ferry, though, at 9, maybe you'll see some jerseys as people head over for the Team Canada game versus Switzerland today at BC Place Stadium. We're going to be talking about that in just a second, but real quick to the weather forecast, where one last warm, humid day with highs of 24, humidex of 25 for the Greater Victoria area. Tonight, though, the wind comes in, it starts to cool off, and we will have rain by later tomorrow.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Yes, Canada set to take on Switzerland in the World Cup today, noon, in Vancouver at BC Place Stadium. CFAX 1070 will have the game live on the radio. And somebody who's deeply involved in this over there on the ground, getting ready for the match, is a guy who has this title. He is Canada's FIFA Sherpa. He's also the Secretary of State for Sport in Canada, and he's a former Olympian himself. Adam Van Couverden is joining us on the line. Sir, how you doing?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Great to talk to you. So you're there now, I'm assuming. What's the mood like right now?
Oh, the vibes are immaculate. We're down at Fiona McCool's on Main Street, and the Voyageurs are out in force. And, people have been lined up to get in to the pub for a couple of hours already. Canadians are so excited. This is such a pivotal moment. And it's not just in Vancouver. It's from coast to coast to coast. This is really bringing the whole country together. And, wow, just putting a real show on, the power of sport.
So that team, that's a fan march, the Voyageurs, as you said, that's still coming up. Are you going to be in the march?
Yeah, I was in the march last week as well. It's just such a cool experience. These are like professional soccer fans. Like they really know what they're doing. And something unique today is they've all got big signs with the number 8 to celebrate Ismail Kone, to make sure that he knows that he's part of the team, that we love him, that we wish him a quick recovery to his leg injury sustained last week against Qatar. So, the vibes are great. The energy's high, and we just can't wait for kickoff.
Adam, we're hearing a vicious rumor that the Swiss are pulling out the cowbells. Any truth to that?
Well, we have cows in Canada, too. The Swiss don't own cows.
Well, we know, but, they've got cowbells out. So they mean business, these fans.
I am certain that the Canadian fans will drown out the Swiss cheers. Every team has got their trademark. I watched the Norwegians row the other day in the stadium, and certainly, a Swiss cowbell. Bring it on. More cowbell.
Okay. They've got a fever, and the prescription is... Anyways, I want to talk to you about your title for a second.
The prescription is a victory for Canada over Switzerland.
Yeah, there you go. FIFA Sherpa, that is your title in all of this. I mean, other than being Canada's Secretary of State for Sport, what does that mean?
Well, it's like a summit term. So G7s and G20s, they always have Sherpas because they are the person that brings the team to the summit. The summit of a mountain or the summit of a big meeting. Over the last year, we've been treating the FIFA 2026 Men's World Cup like that. I've been in contact every week with my counterparts from Mexico and the United States. Each country has one. We're co-hosting. We're putting it on, notice that Canada is definitely the best host of the three, but we're all working together for a great tournament. And, just demonstrating that Canada, the United States, and Mexico are the greatest trilateral relationship in the world.
Yeah, it's kind of neat in a time of, some tensions with our neighbor, for instance. It's kind of cool to also have this moment of coming together. Are you feeling that at all?
Of course, yeah. Like sports just does that, right? It helps us kind of forget some of our differences and, lets us just cheer for our home team and relax and have a good time. And it also just reminds us that we want to play sports, right? Whenever I watch sports, I'm always like, when can I, get out there and do a little bit of like sport, physical activity, recreation? Like I want to move my body too, because it's good for you and it's good for our mental health. And we all spend too much time on our phones. So sport is just a great reminder that we have way more in common than what divides us.
That sounds like the opinion of a guy who used to compete at the Olympics, which you did. You are you're an Olympic gold medalist for Canada. So you kind of know this. You've got this. So you've got a different lens, I think, than most people as you watch this team Canada, get ready for this match today, this kind of pivotal match. It's being described as one of the biggest matches in Team Canada history, at least for the men's team at the World Cup. Talk about, from the athletics side, from the guy who's been there in these kind of high-pressure situations, what it's like for this team to get into this moment.
Well, I want to kind of correct the record. Today is the greatest moment in men's football history in Canada, possibly among the top 10 sporting opportunities ever that our country's ever seen. This is the biggest event in the world, not just this year, but the World Cup of Soccer is the biggest event in the world, not even the biggest sporting event. Like, today's huge. And what a pivotal opportunity. Today is a good chance to kind of shed forever the notion that Canada's not a soccer nation. We are 100% a soccer nation. We have a men's league. We have a women's league. We have an Olympic gold medal in soccer. We have the all-time leading scorer in the sport, Christine Sinclair. Like, Canada's really good at soccer, and kids play from coast to coast to coast, regardless of whether you're from Victoria or St. John's or Iqaluit or Whitehorse or Vancouver, British Columbia. I guarantee, most kids have kicked a soccer ball. And what we want to do at Sport Canada is make sure that every kid can kick a soccer ball, because there's talent right across this country. What we want to see is opportunity as well.
We know that you had a chance to present our team with a special memento, too, the flag.
Yeah, yesterday we brought a Peace Tower flag from the Parliament building to the men's team out at UBC, their training location. It was a real honor and a privilege to bring it to them and to see the sort of light on their faces when they realized this big 3 by 6 meter flag is such a special thing, right? There's a waiting list. It's a coveted thing. The flag comes down every day. And this one in particular was actually the flag that flew on June 12th on Canada's first opening game of this tournament.
So cool. Adam Van Couverton, FIFA Sherpa, Secretary of State for Sports in Canada. He's going to be there at the March too. Go Team Canada. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Go Canada, go.
It is the passion flowing right on through your veins. And it's the feeling like you're oh so glad you came. And it's the moment